devil. That's why you don't with the big dog. Now listen here, you.
Tired of spanking your mates week in, week out? Come on, this sad little loser online from Albuquerque, New Mexico, without any rewards other than glory? Try Stakester now. Start using your legendary skills and making some real motherfucking money. Go on. Press it.
Parsec lets you play your entire library of games on any device, anywhere, with anyone, at any time. It's easy. Install Parsec and boom, your PC game library is at your fingertips. Are you bored playing solo? Share a link with anyone and go multiplayer. No friends online? Jump into Parsec's arcade and play with people from all around the world. Parsec's available for most things with screens. Download now.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the ESL Premiership, powered by Intel. My name is Dinko. I'm joined by Hawker, and we are at home at the minute, which is pretty much everybody should be doing at this point. But the ESL Premiership will continue, and we have got some incredible games coming up, and the UKCS will continue to play through. And first of all, how you doing, Alex? You good?
I'm doing well, thanks. I'm glad that we live in a world where we can still do this because of the internet. It's great.
Yeah, it's definitely good to still be able to continue the Prem. And, well, it has been continuing, and obviously for the past few weeks. So we're going to take a little look at last week's results to see what went down and see how the teams are shaping up. And obviously we did have some incredible upsets come through here. I think the biggest one was probably Endpoint's loss that we'll talk about a little bit later on here. Eidos GG, though, started things off with a 16-12 win over VAC. And well, we continue to see CIX dominate with a 16-8 win over the Pensioners.
And then Chet took that upset, like you said, against Endpoint. Not what we were expecting coming into that game, but Endpoint just
Chet
not living up to our
expectations.
expectations.
With a 69 win over Endpoint was an impressive result coming in from those guys, and clearly that was a result that not many people were expecting coming into this. Endpoint were coming in as the favourites, the team that have just qualified for MDL. They go up against Chet, and the 16-9 loss is not what that team was expecting. With a 16-0 win from Reason Gaming, that is due to a forfeit. Le Petit Buffon was, of course, the ex-Vex roster, and that is, of course, a bit of a situation that we will touch on a little bit later. Vex obviously having to forfeit for the Prem, so a 16-0 win given on over towards Reason. Now we're going to take a look at the group standings and see where these results from last week really put us overall in the standings for the ESL Premiership, as you take a closer look at where the teams currently stand. And well, obviously at the top, Reason Gaming yet to be beaten, 3-0, 9 points on the scoreboard. Close in behind them though are the likes of Eidos GG and Endpoint.
Yeah, definitely still close at the top. Lots of room for these standings to change, but like you said, Reason remain the only undefeated team after Endpoint took that loss in the last week. And then we have down there at the bottom, Pensioners yet to get a win on the board. They're a squad that's stacked with quite a lot of skill, so you'd expect them to be able to get at least a couple of wins throughout the season, but so far it's not come through for them.
No, not yet, but they're definitely an interesting team to keep an eye on. Is Chet's being able to take Endpoint down as well. They're one of the teams that can sort of challenge near the top there. So that's definitely something to keep an eye on. We've got a close race so far in the standings. And while we do talk about the teams quite a bit, you can also have your say if you head over to social media. We are ESL UK on pretty much everything. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, whatever you like. You can head on over there and use it. And as well, what you can have your say on are the likes of the Prem VP and sort of obviously the things we continue here at ESL UK. Prem VP is the best players, right, of that week. And we also have the top plays, which is a group of plays that definitely deserve mentioning on social media. So you can have your say on which one you believe is the best from this week. So make sure you do that after the show at ESL UK. Now, obviously, Alex, when we continue through the show, we have got ourselves a great bunch of matchups coming up a little bit later on as well. So we're going to take a look at the schedule and see what sort of games we have ready for us and see what we can take a look at.
Yeah, only the 3 games today, like you were saying earlier, because of the forfeit that will be at the bottom of your screen. But we're starting with CEX against Reason Gaming, the only undefeated team left in the Prem, looking to hold on to that against CEX. That's our featured matchup of the day for a good reason, because CEX could definitely upset here.
Yeah, definitely. I think CEX, obviously coming into this, are a team that have a lot of potential, a lot of firepower. Definitely one that could take the fight to Reason. We look on to our next matchup, VAC versus Endpoint. Endpoint should be coming into this one as the favorites, but we've seen from that last week's matchup, they didn't exactly do too well against Chet, and so that'll definitely be a time for revenge here for Endpoint to make a statement yet again. Obviously, just qualifying for MDL. The Pensioners, we've already talked about it, a team stacked with potential, could be getting themselves a win tonight against IDOS GG, and with Chet already getting themselves a win over the XVEX players as they had to forfeit, unfortunately. So only the 3 games today, Alex, but 3 brilliant games at that. And well, that does lead us on to our next matchup, and that is going to be CEX taking on Reason Gaming, and that's going to be our first match, and it's the match to watch. So brilliant, exciting stuff coming up here at the Prem, Alex.
Yeah, this first game should be a good one for sure. Yeah. We're saying that Reason, that they're a really, really solid roster. They've been together for a fair amount of time in terms of this core. And I think that the best thing about them is they just don't have any weaknesses. So throughout the season, that they generally don't drop too many games. Yeah. They're pretty consistent throughout. So that gives them a really good chance to top those standings.
Yeah, well, their opponent CEX here, obviously a team we are familiar with. The rosters being MT, Murky, Cypher, Impact, Nuke Dog. This team are packed with potential. And we'll start to talk maybe, I personally like Murky as a player, and he always seems to be injured every time I see him. But he is definitely a player that is in fighting form at the minute, and I think he could certainly be a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, Murky so far throughout the season has had either an even KD or a positive KD in the first 3 games for them, even in the game that they lost. So I think he's been the clear standout for CEX. But then some of the other players in their wins have stepped up as well. Nuke Dog and MT both had good games in their victories. So there is a fair amount of firepower across the board.
Yeah, definitely, Alex. Your push to talk seemed to stop working out. But of course, MT, Impact, Murky, and Nuke Dog, very, very excellent roster. Definitely can take the fight to Reason, who are the likes of Astro, Fry, Paul, Stanley, Jenko. These are the players we look at all the time in the Prem, who always seem to make it to the playoffs, who always seem to get good results in. They are plagued with issues when they head to the finals, though, so maybe this is their time to shine online.
Yeah, you'd expect them to do well in the regular season. Like you said, they always do well in the regular season. Fry, Stanley, Astro especially is the in-game leader for this squad. Puts together a really good team every single time. It's always just a case of, sure, they can be consistent here, but like you said, can they show up at the LAN finals? But we're not there yet. We're still online. We're still in the regular season. This is where these guys thrive.
Yeah, when we're online, we always see maps come in that you're just not really too accustomed to not seeing, right? That's the issue. We always see the same maps coming up, Mirage, Inferno. We always see those come through. Unfortunately, we never really get to see Vertigo that often. So we're going to take a little look at the videos. So straight away coming in, a Mirage, bam, Vertigo straight out of there, Alex. So my hopes will continue to not be fulfilled.
Yeah, straight out by Reason. They actually did play it in their first game of the season, so maybe a bit of a surprise to see that insta-ban come through, and then Dust 2 and Train also taken out of the equation. So we still got Inferno in there. We still got a couple of maps that definitely could be seen for both of these teams. Wouldn't be a surprise.
Yeah, definitely. When you take a look at the likes of Train, these are more tactical maps that a lot of preparation has to go into. And the UK scene, we always sort of see those maps get banned out quite a bit. But the map we are left with is Nuke. Now, I was expecting Inferno coming in here, but Nuke could certainly be a fun one between these two teams.
Yeah, so the only result we have for either of these teams is for Reason. They got a 16-5 win on Nuke against Chet earlier in the season, so that's a solid win for them. I think CEX, though, again, are a team who do like to play fairly tactically. They have had this team together for a while, so Nuke is a map that I think they'll be okay on. It's just a question of, well, will they be able to live up to Reason, who already have a big win on this map?
Exactly, that's the issue. I think a lot of it is pointing towards Reason walking away as the favourites in this matchup. You know, they come into it as my personal favourite, and overall, when you take a look at the way the maps have shaped up, I think they should be coming out of this one as definitely the victors. But we always talk about the potential of CX to pull it off. They have great individuals, a great AWPer in the form of Murky. I remember a few seasons ago at the Prime Alex, we did see a lot of potential come from him on Nuke. We had a crazy long overtime game, and there was a lot of potential there for Murky to show up on Nuke. So if he can have that sort of performance, he's certainly an asset for CX to be able to pull off an upset win.
Yeah, and the other point on Nuke is that you definitely can get your AWPer involved a fair amount of the time, especially on CT side. If he can hold down Yard, that's a big part of the T side approach that's taken away from them. So there's lots of options for his AWP, and you can really play across the map on the CT side with the AWP. You can take it to ramp sometimes. You have the freedom to kind of move around the map and make it really difficult for your opponents to read you.
Yeah, and a couple of seasons ago, I think you'll remember this as well, Alex, this did trigger you quite a bit, but when we seen Nuke come through, a lot of the UK teams were failing the outside smokes, aren't really getting their executes in properly. I think that'll change. I think we've actually started to see a development within the UK scene where the teams are getting better, Endpoint's making MDL, the teams are sticking together through season, and that's something we haven't had for a long time. So I'm thinking that the UK scene is getting much better, and hopefully we'll see some smokes land today.
Yeah, I think we should be good on that front in this game, especially where we do have two of the more put together rosters on this in the Prem, I think, so far. You know, Reason, like we were saying, been together for such a long time. You'd expect them to have those nailed down by now. And then CEX have also been there, always in and around the playoffs, sometimes making it to the finals, sometimes just missing out. So they should have the smokes locked down at the very least. And that's when you start to get into even more mind games, which is what we really want to see.
Yeah, we definitely want to see that come through, and I think obviously being a best of one, we don't really have the caveat of we have another map coming up. There's not so much pressure on this map. It's all on this map, right? So if CX do want to pull an upset, they've got to do it on this map in particular. So we have to get it done. And Nuke, there's a lot of chances that can fall out of control because you've got this new update, right, where the SG is finally being nerfed. So whether or not that'll change the T side substantially, I think personally we will start to see the likes of Train and Nuke become a little bit more CT-sided because we were seeing quite even halves come in and a lot of T rounds picked up. But without that creek now and without that ability to pick that thing up, well, we might have a couple of issues moving forward for the T side.
Yeah, I think that there's also the idea that AWPers might get a bit of an easier time now with that SG being nerfed because they can hold angles a bit more confidently. They don't have to be as scared of maybe an SG being on the other side and just holding at really long range. So a lot of AWPers, I think, are really excited about this change. It's not even a buff to the AWP directly, but indirectly, that can have a big impact. Just nerfing the SG makes it so that AWPers can hold angles, can get more aggressive. So there's lots more options available, I think, for AWPers.
Yeah, because we were seeing before on the T side, a lot of the SG players are going up towards top silo, taking the fights down in towards garage, and often winning them against an AWP. I think we've seen pro players openly admit on social media, you know, they're confident in taking fights against AWPers just with an SG. So I think we are going to have to see, we are going to see a substantial change in the way that the T side is approached now. You're not going to be seeing as many open fights taking on AWPs, and I think we will start to see the CT side rack up a few more rounds. So that's exciting to see which way this is going to slide when we get on to Nuke, which half the teams are going to be starting on, because I think it's going to be very heavily sided towards the CTs if they get off to a good start.
What do you think about the other guns being buffed, Dinko? Do you think we'll see any buys in action?
No. I don't think anybody is sort of conditioned to pick up the Bison yet, right? I think we'll definitely maybe see it come through in some other matchups a little bit down the line. But because this is such an important matchup where these teams are so close, you can see even with the results online, CX 40%, that's quite a a large amount, actually. For me personally, I thought Reason were going to get a little bit more favor towards them, but definitely a good amount of percentage there for CX, and I think that's about right. I think 60-40, maybe 70-35 is probably 75-35 is definitely going to be the right call.
Yeah, I just think in general, when there's a team that's undefeated, it's probably pretty safe to bet on them. If I were the people at home, that's who I'd be choosing as the kind of safe choice. But hey, people like an underdog story, and CEX, they're not exactly the biggest underdogs, like you said, because they have been together as a solid five. They've got some players who can definitely, if they play to their level, compete with the Reason Gaming squad. I think the difference between the two teams is probably just the firepower across the board. I think more consistently, you're going to see more of the Reason players show up, and that just makes the slight difference, I think, as the rounds total up throughout the game.
Yeah, I think when you take a look at this overall, the matchup definitely favors Reason on quite a lot of levels. But CX, again, it is online CS. It's always crazy, no matter if it is in the UK, which all the seasons are played in the regular season online anyway, which is why we do see some crazy results coming across the board. But now we've got teams sticking together. Who knows what CX might bring to the table? Reason need to be careful and not underestimate their opponents, because we have already seen the CX have been together with quite a few of these players for a long time. So maybe they have something prepared, who knows? But there is just a few more minutes until we get right back into the action, or right into the action to start off the Prem today. And it's just good to be back, Alex. It's good to get the action going, and we're starting it on Nuke.
Yeah, Nuke, always a good map to see. Again, like you said, the tactical depth of the teams. More importantly, just having the nades on point, right? Making sure that you actually have the utility solidly deployed, making sure you don't miss any nades. Because as soon as you miss one smoke, it just causes a whole catalog of other things you have to worry about. You have to start being aware of that gap. Or maybe you're not aware that you've missed your smoke, and then you just run into the open and you think you're covered and you just die. So there's loads of stuff that can go wrong if you don't have that nailed down. But like we were saying, we think these teams should have it nailed down. Hopefully that won't be too much of a factor.
Yeah, hopefully there's not going to be too many issues across the board. When we get into this matchup, obviously we'll be looking mainly as to what CX can bring to the table, because again, the perspective we're looking at this is that Reason are definitely the favorites coming into this matchup. A lot to prove for the CX roster, and we'll see if they can make it happen. Just a few more seconds and we will get ready to get into this game. And I think it's going to be interesting to take a look at MT. I think he's a player I'm going to be excited to take a look at. One of the players I'm a little bit more unfamiliar with. So let's keep an eye on him throughout this matchup as well. We are going to be on to the pistol. It's going to be CEX here with the pistols, just USPs across the board. No utility and no Kevlar, as we have a reset, Alex. So we are ready to get back into things.
He's been baited, everyone. He's been baited. I think this time, hopefully, we will be live for real this time, Dinko. Hopefully. This time, I don't want to hype it up as much in case we're not actually live again, though. That's the problem. There we are.
We definitely are. And we are ready to get into the action. It's going to be Reason on that T side. CX do get the CT side start, and we already discussed how this is important for this roster, right? They have to get off to a good start. They have to get that momentum flowing early. And if they could do that here, then they could definitely find themselves a real chance to take down Reason.
Well, he's smoke deployed by Pulse. He's got the P250 in hand, but the rest of the players are moving into ramp room, and there's no resistance here from CEX. This is good ground gained by Reason.
Well, Astro on towards the lower bomb site. Fry at the double doors has got himself into the corner with a bit of switch setup with Stanley. It's going to be Pulse who takes the first kill, the P250 taking the dome off Murky. And while Pulse will start to make his way through the bottom of the lines, it's going to be Nuke Dog taking him away. Pulse picked off, and now a 4v4 ensues on the lower bomb site. Reason just holding on with their traps laid. This is going to be difficult to get back in for CEX. They start their approach to the double doors. They run. It's Jenko with a double. 3 kills from Jenko in the pistol. Make it 4. Jenko doing everything for the T side. Reason, they had their traps laid, Alex, but they only needed him.
Yeah, Reason just get way too much ground onto the B bomb site there. CEX unable to really do too much after they get onto B. They only get, 1 kill on the round overall. Jenko obviously landing some great shots there, but he didn't even need to land great shots really to win the round. I think Reason pretty much had that one in the bag as soon as they got down to the B site. They were already in a great position, and then Jenko was just the icing on the cake for Reason in that first round. Into the second one, no force buy from CEX. You see some teams trying to go for for the second round forces. It can be kind of map dependent. It can be kind of team dependent. But CEX not investing a single penny here, Dinko.
Stingy is the word for it. But it is the right economic approach. To save everything they possibly can to get a solid buy across the board. We'll see currently the setup from the CT side. 3 in towards the upper bomb site, 1 on top of the hut and old vent, and inside of the site itself. Reason not wanting to lose any players to unnecessary fights, so they will be taking their time, slowly taking yard control, a deep smoke in towards Hell to allow the walk up, and already up, pass through. It's going to be Fry with the AK. He'll start to make his way just past and through under Heaven. Together with his teammates, they have evaded the player up on top. Quite a few USPs here, Alex, so a couple of thorns potentially in the side.
Reason got themselves onto the B site, though. There are a couple of players behind the smoke over at Single Door. That's been opened up, but there's no push off the back of it, and the kills should be coming in pretty easily here.
Very easy here for Stanley, but he doesn't get a single kill. Instead, Jenko walks away with the frags. And if you're in that position, I understand Jenko wanting to get, back-to-back 4Ks. It's very understandable. But the fact that the Mac 10 is available, you really want the money to be picked up there, right? But they got the win anyway. 2-0 up. CEX coming into this next one. They've got themselves for Mass, M4, and 1 A1S.
A lot of emphasis in this buy from CEX onto the utility. 3 FAMASs to make sure they can get the full nade. So I want to see what they're going to do with those pieces of utility. The smoke outside there from MT could make life a bit more difficult for Reason. You can already see Fry spamming off the back of that smoke, and Reason are going to use their own smokes to get down secret. And it doesn't look like CEX are going to do too much to stop them.
Well, Murky on the back lines with the A1S in his hands. We'll look to try and pick them off as they run in towards him. It's a bit of a different angle. Obviously, you're going to be very much focused on the back of the boxes, even towards the back of the site. So what Murky can do here is pick himself off that early kill that he's likely to get due to the advantage of the off angle and then fall off. But that flashbang, that negates that problem.
Yeah, just one flashbang forces him away from ramp. That really limits the information CEX have in that position. They've also lost the yard control, so CEX are going to start to feel like they're choked in from loads of angles now. They're not going to feel comfortable. They're not going to feel like they have much map control. And you can see MT trying to make a play, maybe because he doesn't feel too comfortable with the position they're in.
Well, good kill from MT. Frykon and a man advantage was short-lived here for the CT side. Stanley coming back in, but it's Cypher and Impact who deliver 3 kills between them. It does leave Stanley on his own inside of the site. 25 seconds. AK picked up, but Murky got rid of him. It's CEX with their first on the board, and an important gun round win coming in as well.
Yeah, I think it was the 3 FAMASs that opened up the killing there, that opened up the round for them. So that's really well done by CEX, even with the slightly weaker weapons. And now they get to upgrade to some AKs, some M4s. They are good to go into round number 4, whereas Reason have got 1 or 2 issues with their buy. Fry's had to go down to a Mac 10. Pulse is missing utility, so there are some slight causes for concern. But Reason overall get a reasonably strong buy into this 4th round. And they're going to start pretty slow here, just sitting back in lobby, waiting to see if CEX make any mistakes.
Well, Astro throws the smoke in towards outside. It's interesting, we are seeing the standard outside execute come in. I think we started to really see a lot of teams lean towards the garage smoke and then the cross in front of Mini, and they've been using that instead of this sort of standard outside smoke. The issue there is obviously the Heaven players can see a little bit more, but I think it's definitely a nice change because you can take a lot of control up close to Mini and start your splitting towards the A bomb site. But there's a couple of variations you can use towards outside now, but at the minute Reason using the standard one.
Not much utility left for Reason either after all those outside smokes. I think they use some flashbangs as well, so they've only got a couple of flashes, a couple of mollies left. This might just have to be a burst play onto a bomb site, and that means it's very, very heavily reliant on either the flashbangs landing or you getting the opening kill. If they can do one of those, that's going to increase their chances significantly here, as it looks likely they're going to pop onto this A site.
Well, the lineup was available, but Pulse gets the headshot immediately onto MT. Probably should have done at least a little bit of damage there, but Cypher getting the double. CEX have pulled it back. Some advantage for the CT side, but the bomb plant will come through. That Molotov will release Stanley onto Nuke Dog. It forced him into that angle, and he will take the fight and come out on top. Now back into a 3v3. Reason holding the bomb site. Astro on the flank trying to cause problems in from ramp. Stanley's just going to be trying to delay from the back boxes, but there's Astro. His flank allows one headshot to be collected, and now Stanley peeking from behind the boxes. He doesn't manage a single kill, and Impact nearly sprinkles on a 2. But luckily Astro was available up from top ramp. He will take the frag, and another round picked up for Reason Gaming.
Yeah, I really like that call from Reason Gaming. Once they had so few nades left to just go down the vents there, they molly onto the A site, they get one kill, but then they quickly move down the vents, realizing that they maybe don't have the nades to flush out all the positions on the A site. And that makes it really difficult for CEX to rotate over in time because they're just so quick on the pace. And it also gives CEX something to think about in future rounds. They've just lost so quickly onto the B site, and then Astro has got the flank going the entire time. He was really the closer of that round. He was the player who clinched it for them, and he did so very, very well. Looked cool under the pressure. And now CEX have got to go for another low buy. Only 2 P250s bought into this one. They're being very safe with these low buys, Dinko.
Yeah, very conservative, right? They're saving as much money as they possibly can. And I think it's a good idea because Reason have been looking weak. There's definitely weaknesses there. So CX realized if we can get the money into our banks as often as possible, we can compete for rounds here. I think at the minute, it's anybody's game at the start of this. CX have certainly presented challengers in pretty much every round, but we'll see if these pistols do any of that. It's going to be Pulse with a lineup of 3. Murky does get rid of him, but that's a great job done by Pulse. Shouldn't be too many issues at this point now. 1 AK for Murky. And another kill coming in from Impact, but not the follow-up. Murky now sits on his own with the AK in his hands. They know where he is. They probably don't want him to save that, so they might send a hunt after him. But the problem is here for Reason Gaming, they haven't got too much cash built up themselves on a few of their players. Jenko has the most. But the back 10 of Fry is probably the weapon you want to be tossing on in there. It is the expendable one. They might just let him save that AK. It's going to be 4-1. Reason Gaming off to a good start.
Yeah, there should be, there we go, another AK for Fry to recover, so they can save 3 rifles on the Reason side. Like you said, pretty nice round, all things considered, for CEX. I think also that one of the reasons why they're saving so much money, we saw in the first gun round how much they wanted to get the utility. They were willing to sacrifice the premium rifles to get 3 FAMASs just to make sure they got those nades. So they want to make sure they've got as much utility as possible. They've even got the AWP now for Murky into this round. That could be a difference maker we were talking about in the pre-game. So basically everything is there for CEX in this round. Now they just need to deliver the round whip.
Well, Fry immediately running towards outside. You've got MT here who's about to swing right the back of the right container, and while Fry gets rid of him, that probably should have been a kill from MT. He's been in a few of those situations now where he should have been able to at least pick off one. Nuke Dog drops in from the ramp, unable to find anything, and another missed shot. CX are just losing every opportunity that's gifted to them, and that's just letting Reason run rampant in towards the B bomb site. It's going to be Nuke Dog with 1, but immediately there's 2 answered back, and Reason Gaming have pretty much confirmed the round win here.
Yeah, it just didn't look like CEX were quite ready for that pace from Reason there into ramp. I mean, Nuke Dog was able to fall back to the B site, but the player he was holding with over at B didn't really assist him. They didn't really set up a crossfire. And to make matters worse, Murky's been picked off there. They might not even get to save the AWP. Impact's trying to fight his way out of it.
Well, Impact sits back. He wants this kill with the M4. He wants the follow-up as well, but it's not going to be easy to pick off Stanley. Instead, he bits the shots and he peeks into him. Plays that one perfectly. Walks away with a kill. He might just clean them all up here at long range. The AK taps, and there it is from Impact. A small consolation prize, but the round will be lost. 5-1 here for Reason. Good stuff. But again, CX have made this so expensive, time and time again, that you kind of want Reason to have a little more cash in the bike left over and reserved than this. When they invest, yeah, they'll have 2.8k, a little bit less than a few players here and there, but it is okay money, but they probably should have been in a better economic position after winning 5 rounds. But then again, it does keep it open and exciting as CAX invest into this one. It's going to be the 2 MP9s, 2 M4A1S, and an AWP in the hands of Murky. So not a bad buy by any means. Certainly could be better.
Ooh, Cypher gets one through the smoke there with the MP9. Nice way to start the round. Fry's got an angle here, and Cypher will go down. Fry almost makes it a second, but MT gets one back with the MP9, and Nuke Dog playing this position, doubles down. It's only Jenko left alive, and CEX come away with the round win. Nuke Dog getting 3 kills on the ramp hold, and that was a very quick round for CEX.
Yeah, much better as well, because when you take a look at that, they didn't have the greatest of weapons presented to them, but they clean it up. Reason run right into them, and you can see the damage that has done. I've been talking about the consistent economic damage CX has been doing, and that effect that just after 1 round loss, Reason are right back down to a pretty shabby buy, Alex, and if they lose this, it's going to be a full eco.
Could be dangerous for them early into this game. Murky's already got a pick over at Yard.
Oh,
there
no.
was a gap in the smoke, but Murky misses his shot, so Reason might be able to get down secret. Oh no, they just walk into it. Murky lands a second shot.
Are they going to go back? Oh, that was nearly a chance for Murky again. Stanley has been lurking in towards lobby, so at least they have that control still. But finding 2 kills is certainly not going to be easy. Stanley walks in towards the site. The far back play from MT, catching Jenko, trying to enter through mini, but Stanley does get his reward for his patience in towards the door. He drops into the vent as well. Just under a minute in play. And CX have got to find their way back in. It's Reason have got to find their way back into this, because at this point, CX are dominating. Those 2 early picks from Murky put them in this unlosable position.
Astro's just sitting at Squeaky, hoping to spot some aggression, or maybe hoping that Stanley will open up the round for him, but Cypher's got a pretty good angle here. There it is. Stanley doesn't clear the corner, and now Astro is in a whole world of trouble here. 1v4. He's about to be flanked, I think, from main. There it is. MT closes out the round. CX finally getting some good rounds on the board here. Another round where they survive with a bunch of players. And like you said, Murky getting some pretty easy pickings over at Yard to start the round was a big factor in them winning that one. Then they can close it out quite comfortably, and now Reason's money is in the bin. It's another pretty much full eco. 1 flashbang bought last second by Astro.
Yeah, 1 flash, and it's completely useless. While Murky finds 1 MT on the double Cypher coming in as well, and yet another speedy round win from the CAX roster. It's going to be 4-5. Scoreline definitely looking a lot better now for the CT side, and we've got an important round here coming up from both sides. Reason Gaming, if they win this, then they continue their lead. If not, they concede and go 5-5. CAX, not the greatest of starts from them in terms of letting a lot of rounds slide, but for me, they always looked like they were in it, right? They always looked like they were competing in these early rounds. They were certainly doing the damage, and well, now they're finally getting their rewards for the closeness early on.
Well, again, MT is challenging Yard off the back of this smoke, but this time there's no one here initially, so he's going to get even more aggressive, tucking into this angle. Fry might not be able to deal with this, but MT switches position just as Fry moves in. This is still an awkward angle for Reason to clear, though.
MT wrapping around the back. Fry should be dead. There it is. The 1 tap. Could he get more? Indeed, he can. MT, perfect with the aggression, cripples Reason early on. Well, they do patch themselves back up. It is a 3v4 and still a chance to win it early on here for Reason. Minute still in play, Alex, so plenty of time for them to work their way into this, especially having the position of Stanley. That does cause a couple of problems for CEX.
It's currently only Nuke Dog committed to the B-bomb site for CEX, so he's going to have to at least slow Reason down, maybe even get a kill or 2 on this hold. He should be in a position to do so, though. Single door opened up, and it's up to Nuke Dog to lock this down.
Well, Nuke Dog just holding on. Reason looking for the way in towards the B-bomb site. Nuke Dog just chilling up here. It's a good position to be in. While And the double door push and the single. He will peek and find one. Astro gone. And that is the bomb collected early. Murky backing him up if needed, but Nuke Dog handles it enough and will be 5-5 even yet again. CX do pull it all the way back. And we take a look at Reason's economy. It's not in the greatest of positions. There are certainly weaknesses here, but we should be seeing a couple of Deagles invested, a few pieces of utility, maybe even some Kevlar. But this is definitely starting to look a little scary for Reason, given their pretty solid start.
And CX's money is also looking fantastic on the opposite side of the coin to Reason's money. So that's a bit scary. CX can continue to get buys together off the back of this 4-round win streak they've got going. I don't think Reason need to do too much more on this T side, though. And just the pace of the earlier rounds that they were showing, I think, was pretty good from them. So if they can go back to a couple more of those rounds towards the end of the half, I could definitely see them getting 1 or 2 more rounds on the board. Maybe not this one, though. They've only got pistols and the 1 MAC-10 into this round, a few pieces of utility. So they won't have the highest probability of winning this round, but there's always a chance, Dinko.
Yeah, well, the Molotovs do start to run on in towards the side. It's going to be Cypher getting one. Impact coming back in with the M4 as well. Jenko, Tech 9 rattles away and Impact picked off. Pulse on the CZ finds similar success and runs here 3v3. Bomb plant, job done. Mission complete. Money in the bank, but around still anybody's for collection. Reason this would be the cherry on top, even though I don't like cherries and prefer cake without them. Some people are weird and like them on top.
What? Cherries are nice.
You like cherry bakewells way too much, Alex.
They're so nice.
It's like your diet is just, in your bloodstream, it's just cherry bakewells. Well, MT entering back in. Got himself 1 kill towards Astro, but Pulse and Jenko with 2 kills. Murky hits the deck on towards Jenko, but he runs through with the P250. Not enough time for the defuse. Every player eliminated, and Reason walk away with the round win off the back of pistols. I guess they did get the cherry.
They did. Whether they like it or not, they've got the cherry, Dinko. I think they will like it. That's a nice round win for Reason to get on the board. It definitely looks like Reason are finding the most success when they just go for these fast-paced plays, or at least when they commit quickly to a bomb site together, when they actually commit to the push. And I guess that's why that round was so beneficial to them. Having the MAC-10, having the pistols in play, they can just run with no fear onto the bomb site, and actually being able to buy a few nades there in that round helps them get the round on the board. Heading into round 12, though, it's back to the AKs for Reason, so they will slow it down at the start of this round, as you would expect. Plenty of utility for Reason, and might be lining up some of those pieces of utility over the top. Fry just goes for a wild spam with the AK. He's having a great time.
Well, Reason currently setting up for an execute. Smokes at the ready. Tossed on him, Molotovs in towards the side as well. They're in the old vent, upper heaven, rafters, top hut, everything. And Impact is blinded completely, couldn't see anything. And he's overrun. A brilliant execute from Reason, played to perfection, and CX just could do nothing on towards that A-bomb site.
Yeah, maybe Reason think they've spotted a weakness on that A site after winning in the previous round. They go for the similar sort of play with a quick pop onto A, this time with even more nades over the top. And those flashbangs, as you said, were really important. But I think also the entry they get over at Squeaky helps out so much, because Cypher, I think he went down first, and then Impact was just left solo holding the site, having to worry about all sorts of positions. He had to move off the silo because he wasn't comfortable playing there anymore. Because CX only have 2 players on the A site and not a quick enough rotate in that round, makes it much easier for Reason to be able to just run it down. And as soon as they get the A site there, they know they've got the round win guaranteed. So again, another save has to come through for CEX. I feel like Murky's had a couple of rounds now where he's had to just try and save that orb. He's not been able to position himself in the right spot. And we were saying earlier that he could have been a win condition for CEX. So it'd be nice if that could change into the future for this team.
I think definitely has been a little bit inconsistent in terms of the shots he's been able to land. But the ones he has landed have been impressive, and he's got himself down in towards secret stairs. I like the risky maneuver. Instead of going back, down the ramp area, he just runs across the open. Cry is going to get dropped. MT holding in towards main. Gets one done. Cypher as well backing him up and getting a follow-up kill on towards Stanley. So immediately a two-man advantage in play here for CX. And a brilliant hold as well from Upper in the side of the rafters. Impact playing on the back lines. You have got Astro looking to try and be a prong of the approach via the door. He'll walk in as the front man. Smoke comes in behind him. He does get an opportunity, but Cypher takes him away. Cypher looks back, but it's Pulse to meet him with a headshot. MT quick to reply though, and a grit hold overall from CX. That is just much, much better.
Yeah, that looked like a round where Reason were really just saying, let's just take fights on A. We think they're weak on A. We just want to take 1v1 duels and win them. But in this round, CEX actually switched it up. They had 3 players on the A site because they put Murky over to Orping Yard. They felt comfortable putting 3 players on A. And then Reason just kind of trickle in one by one, looking for those aim fights. But because there are 3 CTs there, the crossfires are always going to be strong against you. So good switch up from CEX, and Murky in a different position again gets the entry kill this time.
Well, MT sits back and does finally manage one. It's going to be Jenko who gets rid of him in reply, and 3v4, a man advantage in play here for CEX. Nuke Dog sits back on the stairs. Smoke ready. Blooms in the face of Jenko. And Nuke Dog sitting inside of the vent. 1 minute and 10 seconds. Still plenty of time for Reasons to engineer a way into this, and Astro might just be the man to spearhead the project. He'll head his way up towards heaven. Murky clearing him below. At least he's aware of this possibility, and he's going to catch himself Jenko in the open. Bullet was past his head, so he confirms there's another player close by, but it's Astro who will take away Murky's life here. He does have the opportunity, but the trigger discipline is solid. Astro looking for another kill, looking for info before he does this, and this is so well played. There's one. Make it 1, because Murky just turns around and finds the follow-up. The follow-up kill after that through, and it's Pulse that hits the deck. It's 7-7, and Murky just turns around and murks his team and enemy, and that is just unbelievable. Astro could not do anything about that.
That's an absolute madness from Murky. How does he get away with that? There's no way he should land that shot, but he flicks back around. Astro thought he'd just got 2 kills. He thought he'd guaranteed his team those 2 frags and a real chance at the rounds. Murky just says no, and that's the Murky we know can show up. Here come Reason, though, again with some quick pace. This time, Astro the man to get down vents early. And this is always so annoying to play against on the CT side. That's an extra thing you have to deal with. And look, they've rotated away from ramp.
Well, Murky backing all through heaven. It's going to be Nuke Dog ready, but he doesn't get a single kill. He definitely should have got at least 1 from that position. I feel like that has been a bit of a weakness throughout this half for CEX, is the fact that they've been in these positions where they should be getting at least 1 or 2 kills, and they're just not getting anything. They could have had so many more rounds to play with. Just kind of unfortunate they let it slip. And while Stanley's going to be sitting back, the MAC-10 manages 1 kill. Impact coming in for the follow-up, but still the T-side hold on, and Astro's got himself Impact. Reason Gaming look like the side that will be heading into the second half with a round lead under their belt.
Flash through from MT. Desperation plays at this point as Astro lines up both players and closes out the half. So like you said, 8-7 for Reason Gaming. They're going to be really happy with that from the T side. And I think CEX will just be a bit disappointed with the fact that they didn't get more rounds on the board, because there were some rounds there where they were playing really well, where it looked really good for them. But then sometimes Reason were just able to get really early kills, or were just able to get their number on these quick rounds, which CEX will probably feel like shouldn't have happened so often. But that's really what allowed this half to slip away from CEX. And now they're going to have a really tough task ahead of them coming back into this one.
Yeah, I definitely feel like a lot of the rounds could have went either way. CEX, like we discussed, definitely could have been finding themselves a little bit more. But at least it is 8-7, and from a neutral perspective, and from our perspective overall, Alex, this is a good game on our hands. We haven't got to cast much CS recently, and we're right back into the action with a good one so far, even as it can be. And this is certainly living up to be the match to watch for tonight. Reason Gaming, undefeated so far. CEX looking to try and change that. As we get into the second half, it's going to be 2 smokes for the CT side, Pulse and Astro wielding them, and Astro's got himself a dual Berettas. Now, I hope that he is playing on top hut. Otherwise, I feel like the dual Berettas aren't exactly going to be the best, but this is okay. As long as you're close door or somewhere around this area, that's fine.
Okay, down in the vents, we'll see what he can do. Nuke Dog, close range, not going to get the kill. It's Cypher who steals it away, and there's the dualies up through the vents. Astro looking to do more damage. It's not the dualies, it's stolen away, but finally he follows through. Murky on the flank is now left in a 1v2.
Yeah, let's see if he can pull it off. He has been incredible in a couple of rounds, and that's a nice shot. Ooh. Oh my god, that is disgusting from Murky. You won't find the pistol win from CEX. The first headshot, then the flick to the second. Brilliant stuff from Murky. And we are even yet again. CEX needed that pistol win, and well, they've got it under their belt.
15 for 5 on Murky now. Because of those saves he had in the first half, his KD is looking very nice. And he's the only man to get an AK for CEX in this next round. Clearly the sole carry of the team right now. That's maybe a bit harsh, because MT's only 1 kill behind him. But Astro here, playing behind the smokes with the Deke. He could get behind them. They might not check this. Murky, the man with the AK, could be picked.
Not what you want. How Astro nearly gets a little bit of a flashback there to a previous round. We almost had Murky under wraps, but unfortunately, Murky turns this time. He will get his kill. Jenko with a kill on the scout. It's going to be a 2-man advantage here for Reason. Not exactly the start you'd be looking for, CEX, as they start to crumble. The force buy is paying off. And while CEX, they've only got 1 remaining player. MT, 14 kills to his name. He needs to up that number to 19 just to win this round. So it is looking rather unlikely with the Mac 10 in his hands, Alex.
I'm hearing a very squeaky door, Dinko.
Yep, definitely needs some WD-40 or some sort of lubricant for the door.
Is that what Stanley's trying to do right now? He's trying to unsqueak them.
Yeah, he's trying to...
He's not doing a great job.
Figure out what's going on. Oh, there we go. Oh, not shooting back. MT getting 1. Jenko with the follow-up. It's going to be 9-8. Reason Gaming win the force buy. And that was a prime opportunity for CEX to find success, but they do let it slide. And this is a tactical pause for CEX, as you would definitely be able to predict, because that is not a round you want to be losing, Alex.
Yeah, and just because they got read like a book in that round, really. Yep. I mean, Astro just got so much information sitting behind those smokes. He called that they were all running down secret. And not only does he get the kill onto the AK, but he also just calls for his teammates to rotate down. And you saw that crossfire they had set up on the B site ended up being so strong. CEX couldn't breach it at all. They only get 1 kill on the round, which is not what you want to see. And now they're going to have to take what looks to be another eco. Their money is really bad here, though. They might just have to force. Yeah, they've gone for the force buy. Still not great, though.
Yeah, it's not brilliant. It's more of a deco on steroids.
Yeah, it's kind of like a shrug, and I guess we have to force up. We'll try our best.
And they do have the individuals to pull this off. I mean, we did see some great displays of aim from Murky. Nuke Dog is a player that could play much better than this. I think he's having a little bit of a nightmare scenario here on this matchup so far. Stanley is going to be dropped to 16 HP, so that's good damage put in already from these Deagles. They'll see if they can find anything more. Astro sits back with the AK, and there's an opportunity for MT. Probably should have landed that, unfortunately. Astro gets rid of him. One of the opportunities slipping through the fingers of CEX to get their way into this. Fry holds on. Impact had an opportunity, but couldn't quite pick it up. Now under a minute, the Deagle finally looking to try and dive in towards Garage, but it's Astro dealing with it well. Murky finally will get himself a kill, but it's not enough for CEX to feel any way confident in this round. Murky, now the last remaining player, held back towards outside. And now with the ball in his back, no real map control, it is confirmed to be a Reason win. 10-8 on the board, much better from Reason. Very clean indeed. They only lose Astro, who had already done a hell of a lot of damage towards outside.
Yeah, and they might be able to make it even better in this round because CEX are not going to be investing a whole lot. You can see on your screen, $2,400 loss bonus for them. So if they want to get the AKs, the armor, and the nades in the next round, they're going to have to pretty much full save here. And that is indeed what CEX decide to go for. Again, not a single dollar invested. It's always sad to see, Dinko, but sometimes you have to. And that's even sadder. A nade to the face for Cypher.
Yep. He just got blasted. Well, his Glocks should be melting in the Molotov. It's one from Stanley, make it 2. He gets a 3rd on the M4, and well, finally is overrun by the Glocks. But anything more than this will be impressive, and that's what Nuke Dog gets, a kill on the Glock. He'll run in for more, but Astro, with the patience and coolness under pressure, gets 2 kills. 11-8 on the board. Reason starting to feel a little bit more comfortable. And I think if they win this one, we're going to really see them get into the driver's seat. At the minute, they're certainly in it, but it is a temporary position because CX could certainly pull them away. But if they lose this round, CX, and if they lose convincingly, that's when I start to see Reason really racing to the finish line.
And I think this is what we were kind of worried about in the pregame, was that Reason just might have the slight edges over CEX, which add up as the game goes on. And as this second half has come underway, we've seen that start to come through. It's a 3-round lead for Reason. They've got the chance to extend that even further here. And the pressure really is on CEX in this round, because they're going to know if they lose this round, the chance for the comeback on the T side of Nuke is going to be very, very difficult. Molotov might have caused some issues for the smokes there. There's a big gap available, so Reason are going to see that no one's crossed past those smokes. Nicely done by Reason.
Yeah, really good stuff. Well, the push from CX is going to come through. An opening kill is theirs. It will be off the back of MT finding it. Astro follows up. Jenko getting a kill, but Murky and Cypher doing good work. Advantage on the CEX side.
Ooh, Stanley in from above gets a quick headshot. CEX could just go back to the B-bomb site here, and Stanley's trying to mind game them. He's trying to get ahead of the game and get down to the B-bomb site. And oh no, CEX are going back up. They know that Stanley rotated away. That's so smart from CEX. Now they've got full access to A. They've got the bomb plant, and they've got every chance of winning this round. This should be theirs almost every time.
Yeah, Stanley doesn't even have a kit, so this is not going to be easy. With 1 flash buying, 0 kit, this is not going to be easy whatsoever from Stanley, but he will try. As soon as his position is known, they should be able to double peek him, and what doesn't even need to happen because Nuke Dog takes his head off. And 9th round on the board for CX, much better from them. They need to turn it into consistency though, because Reason have money to buy into this one. There are going to be a few weaknesses across the board in terms of maybe a lack of utility on 1 or 2 players. But even at that, Alex, look at that buy. That is solid from what they've been able to scrap together. And in a way, I think it's much better than the T side. So, yeah, this is not any easier for CX. They may have won a round, but still the pressure is on.
If I were Pulse's mum, Dinko, I'd be ringing him right now and saying, Pulse, why are you not buying a kit here, my man? Why are you not doing it? I raised you better than this, Pulse.
His mum's disappointed in him is what you're saying, right?
His mum is an avid CS player, avid CS fan, and is very disappointed that he's not bought a kit for his team.
Yep, I'm on his mum's side. Should have bought a kit.
Maybe we should sub Pulse's mum in.
Well, Jenko up here with the op and the top of the secret stairs. We'll see what he can find and if he can deploy any success for the team. Molotov goes deep in towards secret. That's going to force Jenko back towards the bottom of the stairs. A minute in play, and finally CX start their approach towards outside.
Ooh. Where's the smoke?
No follow-up smoke. There isn't a gap. There we go. The underhand. Now, you can do this, but the problem is they consistently fail it and leave a huge gap on the right side. Both teams have done that at this point. But Jenko sits back here with the missed shot. That's a real missed opportunity. And we will get a second chance if they swing wide at the top of the stairs to try and take at least one away. Flash is good though. They keep forcing him back, and Jenko now has the backup of the M4, but he covers his teammate. He eclipses his crosshair, and Nuke Dog walks away with a double.
And Nuke Dog's counting his lucky stars on that lineup. Just everything goes right for him. And now Astro is just having to commit to this angle. He wants multiple kills, but he only gets one. CEX eventually clear his corner. And now Fry and Pulse between them either have to win a 2v4 retake or just have to save, which I think is the more likely option at this point.
Ooh. Well, Murky's been dropped to 12 HP, and lucky he runs away. That wouldn't have really mattered anyway. Brilliant hit from Pulse. Another reason for his mother to be disappointed. But save call having to come in here from Reason. Not being able to win this, obviously. Money's not brilliant anymore, so save call has to come through. CX with double figures, and we have indeed got a game on our hands in the second half as well.
That's why this is the hot match of the day, Dinko. We knew it was going to deliver, and it certainly has. The game as close as it could be. As soon as this round ticks over, there'll be one round between these two teams. the economy for Reason Gaming isn't really good enough to do too much off the back of these rifles. They're probably better off just saving all their cash and making sure they can buy into the next round. So this is a round where I think Pulse and Fry can be given some freedom. I think they need to kind of make the call in this round and kind of say whatever they want to do to set themselves up.
Yeah, and I think at this point, we are starting to see some more individuals here for CX step up. You can see that scoreboard is starting to look a lot less top-heavy. Murky's on 17 kills, 16 for MT, but the rest are 12 and 13 across the board. Nuke Dog had a bit of a quiet start, but is certainly able to hit a few shots now at this point. So impressive stuff to see in a turnaround that CX desperately needed. Reason over on the CT side are going to get their M4s in. Fry on the M4A4, Pulse on the A1S. That has been reduced in price, Alex, so you can pick that up a little bit more often.
Good bargains picked up by Pulse.
Perhaps you got it in your favourite shop, Alex, TK Maxx. There are obviously other shops available.
Other shops available, yeah. Other discount shops available. So what are the rifles doing here? Pulse and Fry, I think they're stacked pretty near to their teammates, which I guess is partly just so that Reason can maybe just pick up the guns if they end up dying. Maybe, you know, Astro or Stanley can pick it up. Ramp is wide open, though, and CX are going to make the most of that. They're moving down to the B-bomb site.
Oh, Pulse thought he did mess it up. It was his teammate that picked it up. Jenko with the headshot, USP. And that's another weapon to play with. Impact was a little bit wary of planning the bomb, but he does have his teammate to back him up. Nuke Dog needs to be careful here. P250 waiting for him, but MT is getting 3 kills in towards the site itself. Astro manages one on the P250, but Impact and MT have done enough on the site to force Astro away. He'll take his one weapon, and he will save it into the next. CX, even the scorer line up. It's 11-11. And well, there we go, Alex. We are even yet again.
Exactly where we want to be, but now we get a tactical pause taken by Reason ahead of this round, and this is a pretty big moment in the game for them because they could get a buy together here, but they might be missing some nades. They will be missing the AWP, unless Jenko wants to buy it with literally all his money, which is always a risk. And they'll also probably be missing the defuse kit. So there is a bit of a decision to be made here as to whether or not you want to buy, considering how close the game is. But I think Reason have realized they can get enough on the board to be able to go for the investment. That's what they've decided to do into this round. And again, at this point, pressure is on, especially for Reason here, because they've not got a buffer built up at this point. If they lose this round, CEX should come out to a pretty good lead, considering how late in the game we are.
Yeah, this could definitely be upset territory for CEX. 40% of you at home predicted CEX to be the winners. The majority sided with our opinions, Alex, in terms of expecting Reason to win. But I think we always have to, as commentators, always have to look at it from the statistics perspective and if they make sense with what we already know, right? And obviously everything points to Reason being the team to win this, but we also did say that CX have the potential with the skill they have on their team to make this happen. Now here's a best of one. Anything can happen. We already seen that last night with Chet taking on Endpoint, taking them down 16-9. Interesting times.
CX slowly working this round, but the Molotov's being deployed into the A-bomb site. Lots of nades going both ways, but Fry gets 2 kills in the midst of the chaos. Stanley pushes into the back lines, and now CEX are in a whole world of trouble. Murky has got to do it all by himself, and he's got 3 more players against him.
Well, Murky, we'll see what he can do on his own. Coming in from the hut, right above him is Death, and that's going to be Jenko taking him away. 12-11, 4 away from victory here, Reason. That could have been a perfect round for CEX to win, but now things open up yet again. Reason with a bye, CEX also with a bye. But this is the round we like to call the swing one. This is the swing round, Alex. Whoever wins this will take control of the momentum.
Yeah, definitely a huge round in the context of this game, considering the money, considering how late we are. It's also nice to see Fry get those 2 kills in the previous round for what it's worth, because normally we know him as Mr. Consistent, as Mr. Cool for this Reason squad, but he was bottom fragging down there with 7 kills before that round. So good to see him having some impact. We'll see if that can continue throughout the rest of this CT side, as Stanley might be tested here.
Well, Stanley sits back with the Incendiary ready to deploy, but doesn't have to come through just yet. Just jiggle peeking. With a FAMAS. They just step back, CEX ready. It's going to be Murky with 1 kill. Astro hitting the deck, and now we've got an advantage here for CEX.
Lots of time left, lots of utility left for CEX as well, so they're going to make the most of the clock right now. With the man advantage, they're going to let Reason sit in this position, and Murky's been able to follow through. Stanley now solo holding ramp, could be in trouble. He has to fall back away from the position, and CEX continue to gain ground in this round. They've got a great opportunity here.
Yeah, Pulse able to find one on towards Impact. 4v3, an advantage here for the T side as they try and impact on towards the side. It's going to be Pulse managing one, but MT and Nuke Dog deliver a delicious double. It does leave Stanley on his own in a 1v3, and this recovery is not looking all that possible with the FAMAS. 1 flashbang. And he'll back himself into the corner. It's going to be CEX 12-12. We talked about the importance of this round, Alex, and CEX have done it.
Oh, and Stanley is a dead man. Doesn't get away with the AK. That means that Reason are going to be very limited into this next round. And yeah, I think we've got to give a lot of credit to CEX, because there have been a couple of rounds now where I think both teams know that it's a massive round in the game, where if CEX lose it, they're going to have a really tough time coming back into it. But CEX have stepped up to the plate every time. In those 2 or 3 rounds that they've needed to win, they've done exactly that. They've not looked like they've crumbled under the pressure. They've done the opposite. They've stepped up to it. That's why we still have a close game on our hands. And that's why CEX are starting to get themselves into a pretty good position in this game. I don't want to talk too early, Dinko, but it's looking good for them.
It is looking good for them. But again, like you said, it is getting later into the game, but it's incredible that it's still open no matter what. And we have got a pretty good position now for CEX. They should be taking the lead with no real issues. It's the next round where the gauntlet can once again be tossed to the floor. CEX, I'm sure, will accept the challenge. Smoke going out towards outside. It's going to be a boost, stacking pretty much everyone over towards ramp here from the CT side. The CEX are avoiding that completely, and I think that's definitely the right call. You generally never want to go in towards that ramp with more than 1 or 2 players, Alex, in these kind of runs, because you never know what's there. You can just be rushed, lobby crunched. There's so many options, and generally going against the low buy, you kind of want to avoid that ramp room.
Yeah, exactly. There's only really the one angle you can approach ramp from, unless you have the outside control, which CEX do currently have in their hands. But I think you're probably better off if you're CEX at this point, just investigating the A site, maybe seeing what you can spot out there. You can approach that from all sorts of different angles. Flash into heaven, and that's what CEX are doing. They're seeing what is on the A site, and the answer is nothing. It's completely clear, so this should be a CEX round very easily. It's just a question of can Reason maybe come away with some kills at the end here.
Yeah, this could definitely be an easy cleanup round for CEX, but the pistol's still a possibility to sprinkle a little bit of damage across the board. They will start to explode, perhaps even waiting on the door for everyone to begin to exit the bomb site to save their weapons, but it seems like Impact is the only player going to be making his way over here, and he might just be under a lot of pressure when that door swings wide open, but getting himself in towards outside now, that might just be the problem avoided. Start to sprint in. MT gets away at the right time as well. There's no real need for CEX to take fights. They can fight towards outside. When they get the line up, every single kill comes in. Every player lost for Reason, and it's CEX who head into the lead. They are now 3 away from victory against Reason Gaming.
Really getting into crunch time now. Pulse drops the AWP over to Jenko for reason. Once again, they haven't been able to buy a kit on the CT side. They've got full rifles and most of the nades that they would want, but that lack of kit could be very costly in an important round here if the bomb ends up being planted. So that's something to keep in mind as we head into this round. Nuke Dog almost gets the kill, and he gets it second time of asking. Fry has to back away. Smoke in play means that CEX should be able to get themselves onto the site pretty easily here. And look, all the Reason players retaking from the same angles. Nuke Dog with another kill.
Looking for the lineup. Sees Nuke Dog obviously out of there. That's a big issue for them. Cypher sitting back here, looking to try and pick them up, and he makes it happen. The double comes in. Astro and Pulse hit the deck. CX 14-12. They are 2 away from victory. And this would be incredible. We've beat up Reason. They've come into this as a team that everyone is looking to beat. Everyone is trying to prevent that clean sheet. And well, CEX might just be the team to do it today.
Yeah, and it's another swing round that goes the way of CEX. I feel like they've won almost all of the swing rounds in this second half, when we know that whoever loses is going to be in trouble. I mean, CEX wouldn't have even been in trouble here, but they've just controlled that economy game so well. Whenever they've needed to come up with a clutch, come up with a play, they've come through. This time, Cypher, who I think was bottom of the board before that round, he comes up with the clutch. And now CEX are in such a good spot, Dinko.
A brilliant spot, and it's really nice to see because CEX are obviously a team that we said have the potential to do this. They've got the skill, and now they're really putting it into play. And Murky, he was a win conditioner. I think he always had to play well here. But MT has been impressive. He was a player I said coming into this, I want to keep an eye on. I want to get to know this player and see what way he ships up against these opponents. Oh, he's come into this looking gold tier, so great stuff. Eagle from Astro, positioned in towards outside. Cypher on the other end of it. It's going to be an instant kill from Murky. And well, Fry playing on the gap. Now, that gap is so consistent that everybody's just been playing with it. Fry gets himself one. Cypher gone. Murky will pick up Fry. MT also bites the dust, so we're into a 3v3.
Definitely danger here for CEX, though, after those initial trades. A bit of damage done there. Murky down to half health. CEX, we've got to be careful that they don't let this round slip away. Like you said, the small mistake of the outside smoke is what's allowed this round to open up, but CEX now going to move into A.
Well, that's exactly the call, and Impact's going to get himself a headshot, clearing Pulse as well. Pulse needed a frag there, but CEX are going to head to map point, unless Stanley pulls off probably one of the most incredible CS plays I've seen. And I just don't think that's going to happen every day of the week. So Stanley walks in, spotted is Nuke Dog, but Stanley will make his way back in towards Mini, and well, he will fall. Impact gets rid of him. 15-12, CEX map point here on Nuke. This is our game to watch for the day, and it has been very impressive.
Yeah, CEX showing up so far in this one. They only need one more round to take away the undefeated record of Reason Gaming. Jenko's got himself the AWP. Again, the CT buy looks solid, but that hasn't translated into round wins so far. They've had good buys. They haven't been able to close out the round. CEX have always been the ones edging these sorts of rounds, and if they could do the same here in round 28 to take it over the line, that would really be the story of this half. And the smoke being lined up for heaven, it's a faster play for CEX.
Impressive execute yet again coming in, this time for CEX on towards the A-bomb site. It's going to be MT picking up the initial kill. Pulse gone. Nothing Reason can do at the minute. Fry's going to do is work in towards Min. It's Cypher being picked off, and Stanley up above goes for the kill. It's Impact, Nuke Dog, and MT. A flurry of frags that leaves Jenko on his own, Alex. A 1v4. This is just not looking possible. He'll hit the first, though. The first start into an incredible clutch of what would be. As the smoke goes through, two Molotovs are into his position. This is just not looking winnable.
Lining up the flashbang to try and make something happen. Blinds the player, but he doesn't get the shot to connect, and now Impact can just hide. He knows the player's in heaven, but he knows he doesn't need to peek because Nuke Dog's got him covered from the lower ground. Oh, he's so close on the wallbang, but Jenko can't find it. Nuke Dog closes it out, and CEX calls the upset in our opening game of the day.
Yeah, an incredible performance from the CIX boys. And while this team, coming into this matchup, when we take a look at them, we know they have the potential to do this. We know they have the potential to show up and do damage against the likes of Reason. And while they do, they show up, they take the win. And 40% of you at home were correct, Alex. Not what I was expecting, but clearly 40% were.
Clearly the fans know what they're talking about, Dinka. At least some of them do. The 40% of the fans know what they're talking
40%
about.
40% of the fans. Yeah, it was definitely an incredible look to see what CEX could deliver. And I'm excited to see this roster in the future. I'm excited to see what they can do. Reason Gaming, obviously, their clean sheet is gone. And for me, we're starting to see a Prem season that is looking incredible, that is looking really close. Battles being ensued at the top, even with Endpoint taking losses to the likes of Chet yesterday. We've got a good season of Prem on our hands, Alex.
Yeah, definitely. It feels like it's much more open this time around. Like you were saying, we haven't just got the same old teams winning every single game, which has kind of been the case in some of the previous seasons. It's felt like this time we are getting some early upsets, and that opens it up significantly, even in terms of who makes it through to the top 4.
Yeah, and when we take a look at the CEX roster overall, there's huge performances from Murky and MT. I think it's hard to call which one of those players takes the top for me, the top prize of being the player of the match. I think for me personally, it would probably be Murky, just because he had a lot more impact. I think MT had a few of the eco kills come through, but both definitely very good options. And obviously you can have your say a little bit later on as to who is that player of the match, because when we take a look at this, I definitely would personally go with Murky, but again, no vote manipulation, Alex. It's all open to the public.
Yeah. No manipulation there. I think the nice thing for CEX, though, was also that they did have a bunch of different players show up, right? We had that Cypher 1v2 towards the end. I think there was a round near the end where Impact got those 2 entries onto A in that round where they were kind of looking like they were a bit worried about losing against the Pistols. He just steps up, gets the entries they needed. Yeah. So there was all sorts of players showing up across the board. And then, like you said, MT was just kind of consistently putting up the numbers.
Yeah, well, you can have your say of the player of the match. Who was the best for you? Below we have Jenko, we've got MT, and we've got Murky. So if you want to have your say, head over to ESL UK on Twitter and make sure to put your vote in, because there's definitely a good few options there and a lot of reasons as we've given as to which you could pick. It is time for a break though, ladies and gentlemen. We will be getting right back into the action for a second matchup, so make sure you stay with us here at ESL Premiership.
Back yourself. You heard me. Don't back a horse. Don't back a stranger. Don't back a man who dresses like a shinobi. Back yourself. You gem, you rock, you star. You train like a pro, you should be paid like a pro.
Parsec lets you play your entire library of games on any device, anywhere, with anyone, at any time. It's easy. Install Parsec and boom, your PC game library is at your fingertips. Are you bored playing solo? Share a link with anyone and go multiplayer. No friends online? Jump into Parsec's arcade and play with people from all around the world. Parsec's available for most things with screens. Download now.
Hello and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the ESL Premiership powered by Intel. My name is Dinko, and I'm joined by Hawker for the rest of this day. We've got plenty of good matchups coming in. We've already had our game of the day, and it's certainly delivered with CX taking an upset. But our next matchup will be Endpoint, probably the team that many people favour coming into this entire league. Well, they'll be taking on VAC, a team of lots of mixed players that have played throughout the season, very talented individuals that aren't known so much for their performance as a consistent team, but definitely an exciting matchup nonetheless.
Yeah, just because our pick for game of the day is out of the way doesn't mean that these games can't be great too. I mean, we've definitely picked the wrong game of the day in the past, Dinko, so you can't always trust us. And Endpoint versus Zach is another one that definitely has the potential for upset, like you were talking about.
Yeah, we're going to take a closer look at the roster of VAC, because some of these players you might not be so familiar with, because this team definitely aren't the likes of Endpoint, where you've got all these players playing all the time in lots of different online leagues. So we've got likes of Ents, who we've seen in previous seasons, Emil Shine, who's a pretty incredible individual player, Capers, a lot of people will be familiar with this guy, Lauti and Dale. So this team we've seen play before. There is a few changes, maybe Capers out for, I can't remember what his name was, but a long time ago, this team did pretty much play as this core. So a very, very solid roster, a lot of skill, and definitely one to keep an eye on moving forward. And anybody that sort of jumps off the page there for you, Alex?
I mean, with this team, it's always been about Emil Shine and Deos, and that's been the case this season as well. They've been positive in KDs in each of their games, even though they've lost 2 of their matches. So those are the 2 you know are going to show up, and then it's a question of if someone else shows up, that's when this team starts to become really scary.
Yeah, we'll take a closer look at Endpoint and see what those players are going to be looking at like. And this team have had recent success, right? They've been getting better results online. They've just qualified for the Mountain Dew League. We've seen them play in a lot of other online tournaments. They're the likes of Robin, the Swedish player, who's definitely a very solid individual. Surreal, Mighty Max, Thomas, and Crucial. Now, taking a look at this roster, it's very difficult to point out one player who can show up, because they all can show up on different days, right? Thomas is a brilliant, aggressive eco-frag who gets a lot of damage done in those kind of rounds. Crucial, a huge player with that AWP. Definitely an exciting team to look at.
Yeah, I think when this roster first came together, it felt like Thomas was more often than not being the clear standout player. But I think as time has gone on, the rest of the team have started to chip in, and it has become much more balanced, like you said. And now you've got Crucial having good games. You've got Surreal being always solid as a good rifler as well. And obviously Robin, we know, can take over games as well by himself. I think even Mighty Max was top fragging today in a game I saw. So when Max is top fragging as well, clearly something's going right with this team. And it's been going very well for this UK squad.
Well, that does lead us on to maps, and well, Endpoint are clearly going to be the team that has the stronger map pool, the deeper map pool, should we say, and we're going to take a look to see what comes through. So Endpoint are going to be banning the more puggy style maps, and that's obviously very expected against a team like VAC.
Yeah, I kind of wonder, okay, so Endpoint ban away Train. I was going to say that's the map they lost against Chet, but that's the map they do often go to in best of ones. So I was wondering if they would go for Train, and it looks like they've banned it away. Maybe because VAC also have got a game of their own on Train. They've been willing to play it. We end up on Dust 2. Now that is interesting, Dinko.
Yeah, so I did originally start my statement of the video with they're banning all the puggy maps. Then we get on to the most puggy map. So yeah, interesting. I think Endpoint should be confident in their own individual ability anyway. We've seen them look solid on Dust 2. So at this point, we probably have the best game possible on our hands, right? VAC going pound for pound against Endpoint in terms of just raw individual aim and ability. This is going to be an exciting matchup, and I'm looking forward to getting into it.
Yeah, we've seen games where like Deos has just run up banana with the AWP and gone for fights and just taken matters into his own hands. That's something you can do on Dust 2 all over the map. We know Emil Shine likes to play aggressive sometimes as well. So if some of these VAC players show up, they can be very scary on this map. And we've had a game where when VAC did get their one win on the board, it's when Ents also played well. He top fragged in that game alongside Emil Shine and Deos. So I think that's really what we need to see from VAC. One of those other players stepping up.
Yeah, well, looking at the say over on Twitter, the percentages, 32% for VAC, the majority obviously favoring Endpoint. I think that certainly is the right call. And you can have your say over at ESL UK on Twitter, where ESL UK on all social media, set out over there if you would like to interact. We are ready to get into the pit still though, Alex. It's Endpoint taking on VAC on Dust 2, a map of just sheer ability and aim, and we'll see what VAC can do starting on their T side.
Bit of a boost from Endpoint. Surreal will be moving up through short, and VAC are just spreading all across the map. I'm almost surprised that we don't see VAC just buy a dig on one of their players or something crazy, because that's something that this team would do. But they've just gone for the one set of utility, and Surreal looking for the early fights, but he's forced to back away.
Well, Mighty Max sitting back here with the USP is going to be flashed off the angles. He falls away. Capers sitting with a Glock in his hands. It's going to be Robin with a kill on towards Lauti. That's first blood drawn so far on the server, and it goes in favor of Endpoint. And they've got Surreal just sitting back with a USP. Chaos trying to jiggle a little bit of attention away up towards short. Capers has made his way through the mid doors, Alex, and will be starting to apply a little bit of pressure with the rest of his teammates up towards B, where Mighty Max, the in-game leader, looks to try and hold on. It's Capers that gets rid of him, and we're into a 4v4.
Good kill from Crucial, and this position is pretty hard to deal with. Thomas fighting from the back of the bomb site, and he's going to go down. It's up to Crucial to slow this one now. He's trying to do so, and the shots connect. Robin and Crucial combined for all the kills between them, and even though Endpoint looked like they were getting pushed back on that B bomb site, they fight their way through.
Yeah, well, coming into this one, Endpoint. Obviously, the start they would be looking for. That coming into this one with 3 scouts in their hands, 2 Deagles in play, Ents and Lauti picking them up. Molotov deploys in towards the longhouse early on, the flash there as well. Thomas is just back with the FAMAS, and well, at this point we can see Endpoint just taking it slow, no real need to get aggressive up against the VAC side. That's exactly what they want. They want to chip away, do the damage, and allow the pistols to fill in the holes.
Ooh, this is not a comfortable angle for Deos with the scout. He has to land a headshot, and he will not be able to. Surreal runs him down with the MP9. As soon as the shot is missed, Surreal is very confident that he can take the fight. And even though there were the scouts supporting from short, they didn't land shots either. So VAC lose the early fight, but they recover the scout, and they will look to see if there are any fights given to them by these Endpoint players.
Well, VAC gathering in towards short with most of their players here already. The remaining players all positioned over here on short, Alex. 4 heading in towards the A bomb site. It's going to be Crucial, gets that initial kill. Lauti picked off. MBL trying to get back in, but he's not landing the shots. Instead, it's Ents on the Deagle, who will get 2 off the back of his pistol. He wants more than just the 2 he's already found. And he will continue to land shots, but he will finally hit the deck. It's Capers up on top. Thomas will take him away. Endpoint lose 2 players, but they will get 2 rounds on the board.
Yeah, those rounds can always be a bit scary, but Endpoint get away without being too threatened in that round. They were generally in control of that one. They should be in control of this one as well. So that go for some more pistols into this next round. Oh, we've got a revolver on Lauti Dinko. I mean, JW is the only man I ever see find any success with this weapon, but maybe Lauti can have some fun with it. Who knows?
Clearly, you haven't seen the show match that I had the pleasure of being absolutely destroyed by Vinny in a 1v4 with that thing. But yeah, in professional matches, we do see JW do stuff with this. We'll see if Lauti can show up. A revolver. Oh, nope. The Molotov coming in. MBL's going to be picked off. Robin gets the opening kill again. It's looking good for Endpoint. It shouldn't really be too much of a challenge here presented from VAC into this round, but you know, a team with incredible individual skill. These pistols can definitely crack a few skulls open, and that's exactly what Ents has done.
Ents just waiting for the aggression, which might come his way here. Endpoint have pushed through B tunnels. Mighty Max, not a fight he really wants to take with the MP9, so he just decides to hold his ground while the VAC players look back over at A just to see if any of the Endpoint players are a bit too overextended. Still 45 seconds left, so VAC don't have to force anything, but Capers could have landed a shot there, but he's not landing them at long range. That was his chance, I feel. Now Endpoint know his position.
Ents will start to pressure back up in towards A. Capers does not manage anything. It's now only Ents, and they do know his last whereabouts. It'll be Mighty Max who takes them away. Money in the bank for Endpoint. Perfect start, 3-0. And something I noticed yesterday for Endpoint when they lost against Chet was the fact that they were very slow to get going, and they lost a lot of momentum, and they never really got into the game. But so it's good that they've come into today. They've been playing better online anyway in the other matchups they've had earlier on today. So this is definitely a good start from Endpoint, and they look to try and continue this.
He flashes out through a long. Surreal, the man crossing over to pit. This smoke is giving some cover for the Vac side, and Surreal spots the player on the edge of the smoke. More aggression from Endpoint, but there's more players here. The nades are landing, and Capers is done for. In the midst of the smoke, he goes down. Trades keep on coming, though. Vac spots some players at mid, and they come away with the advantage.
Well, Robin, he's going to be there with the M4. Deos gone. We've got ourselves a 2v2. Robin's trying to make his way back through the smoke. It's Ents holding on for the boost over the top, and he will take the kill. Surreal now the last remaining player. 1v2 left for this. He will start to make his way through the back of the smoke. Vac look to enter the B-bomb site. 2 already through the window. Ents and Lauti. The duo trying to make it happen. Surreal is trying to walk his way past the double door. He will walk up towards the top of the B ramp. Smoke goes in towards the side. Flashbang ready to go over the top as well. He'll follow in behind it. And this time it will be Ents who takes his head off for the first on the board for Vac.
There we go, 3k for Ents. He was the man that I was talking about as potentially being the difference maker for this Vac squad. And for what it's worth, Vac have already played Dust 2 once in the regular season. They got a 16-6 win against the Pensioners, who are also a pretty skilled roster. They've got some players on that Pensioners team. So for Vac to get that sort of win on Dust 2, definitely a promising sign for them. But obviously Endpoint are a whole different caliber of team, and that's being shown at the start of this round. 2 kills in quick succession for the CTs. Ooh.
Well, Nate goes in. MBL, the replacement for Emil Shine, has been dropped to 51 HP. Vac are starting to bring themselves back up in towards the tunnels. We have Mighty Max just in behind with the D-Eagle. Up in the window is Surreal. Robin looking to make his way up the ramp. Now this is going to be a heavy stack from the CT side over towards B, so this could certainly start to crumble for the Vac roster. They've got a good read here on the CT side. Even the long control still locked down towards A, so this is not looking so great for the T side, I have to say. It has to be a huge play from one of these players now.
"44 seconds are left on the clock for that play to be made." Ents just holding the tunnels, but I doubt Endpoint are going to go aggressive here. There's no real need for them to. Robin's having a little fight at mid. Again, Endpoint have got this player at mid willing to fall back to the B site, so they end up with a 3B stack, which could leave A somewhat vulnerable, but I don't think Vac have realized that here. With 20 seconds left on the clock, they're still just investigating, still searching for frags.
Well, MBL taking away Robin, and now the push comes in through short. Crucial, the Dutchman waiting to take them away. He will find one, and going back in for a second, he'll try and do some damage, but the time is so low, the round cannot be won by the T side, and Crucial will confirm. He might just take him after time, but MBL will survive on 1 HP. Barely, Alex.
Whew, just about getting away. Saves the Galil over. That gives Vac a decision to make, though. He doesn't get any money for surviving after time on the T side, so the rest of the squad will be buying around MBL. AKs for a couple of players, Scout in the mix, and then a second Galil bought by Lauti. So, a bit of a scrappy buy from Vac, but then again, I think Vac are a bit of a scrappy team. They like definitely to play aggressive, so they could make this work.
I mean, that is their playstyle, right? It's just scrappy, take the aim jewels across the board, see what you can do, and that's exactly what Ents tries to do in towards middle. Robin taking him away on the M4. Flash deploys from Robin. Man advantage for Endpoint yet again, and this is something they've been very good at, is sort of taking that early kill, and in particular Robin has been very good at that. Mighty Max, not exactly the greatest weapon, but Robin trades back.
Coming into the B-bomb site, Surreal as this B-site anchor gets the 1 kill he was looking for, and at Max their hell away. He's allowing them to get onto B, or maybe not, because Surreal lands a second shot, dropping the bomb and leaving Capes 1v4. He spotted the first player, but the flash lands right in his face to slow him down, and there comes the flank. Endpoint remaining on top of the round. Surreal with 2, Robin with 3, and I think the worry for Vac here is that up against Endpoint, if they can't rely on their skill, they're in all sorts of trouble. If they can't get rounds just based off their individuals, I'm not sure they've got much to fall back on.
utility going over the top. Smoke comes in towards long. Nid back in as well. Thomas able to find one. K-Piz gone. Follow-up in from Thomas, and that's Lauti picked off, and while Thomas will get another, Surreal doing good work, and it's MBL on his own. P250 in his hands, he'll swing, and Crucial will take him down at 6-1. Endpoint, very, very solid stuff coming in from them.
They haven't really been sweating too much in these early rounds. Heading into round 8, though, we finally got a full buy for VAC, including an AWP, which we have been waiting patiently for. Always can have a big impact on Dust 2, so maybe this could be the turning point for VAC. I think really it has to be at this point, because look at how confident Endpoint are. Surreal's pushing lower tunnels.
Surreal has got himself a really, really solid position. He's also got Mighty Max to spot the info for him inside of the site. He should be at least good for one. He doesn't pick it off. Instead, delays and allows teammate to come in the window. But this push from Surreal should be enough for more than one. He will grab two. Robin and Mighty Max clean up the rest. It's 7-1 on the board. Endpoint displaying why they let Dust 2 slide through. You know, it is sometimes a risky map to play against a team like VAC on, but clearly a very, very solid performance from Endpoint.
Yeah, super solid there as well from Max. He doesn't get much credit in terms of kills for that, but just dropping the smoke there and just making sure Surreal is set up for all those kills on players that are focused on the site, it is exactly what he needed to do. So smart stuff from Mighty Max, as you would expect. And into this next round, VAC are going to try and up the pace through mid. Surreal spotted them early, though, landed a shot onto two players, and VAC will gain the short control they were looking for, but Surreal is still hungry for a fight here.
Molotov in towards middle. MBL is up on towards Catwalk. Crucial back in the ramp, misses the shot a bit from MBL working out. They've also got the scouts in behind him to try and challenge the Opera, but Crucial will win that battle. Lauti picked off. And got ourselves an advantage in play for Endpoint. Yet again, Alex.
That's a phrase we'll be saying a lot throughout this game if it keeps going like this. Oh, look at the damage as well. The VAC player is pretty low across the board. Another kill for the Endpoint squad. This time Thomas taking it, and this is easy pickings for Endpoint. No damage taken in the round, and this is starting to turn into a bit of a one-sided battle, Dinko. I'm not even sure we can call it a battle at this point.
Well, some battles were one-sided, Alex.
I guess. Like when I beat you up at Prem.
Yeah, that was not a nice sight. If anybody, completely did happen and all that. And
totally happened.
But smoke on towards Xbox. K-Piz taking his way through. There's a player in behind the smoke. Surreal is there with the ult, but he will hit one. Loud steps back in, and Surreal gone. Robin able to find the trade. We've got an advantage back in for Endpoint. Lauti trying to make his way through the mid doors, but that smoke comes in and forces them back. Deos takes a little bit of chip damage, but it's not enough to dispel him completely.
I think we're really seeing this is the kind of game that Robin thrives in, when he can just take fights. Oh, he almost lines up that wallbang as well. But this is what Robin likes to do. He just likes to be able to take kind of fair fights, and when he's confident he can win them, he's just going to keep going. He's just unrelenting. Finally, Ent shuts him down, but it's way too late. Robin's got away with 3 kills on the round, and Ent switches over to the AWP to try and have a chance on low health in this clutch.
Well, and it's gone 9-1. Endpoint domination from the CG side here. Kind of performance you'd expect from them, but sometimes it does falter.
Mighty Max is taking the Hawker role right now, just kind of watching his teammates kill everyone. 2 kills, 3 deaths. He hasn't had to do anything though. He's chilling.
Yeah, it's kind of funny looking at it that way. So see, sometimes the SCA servers reset the statistics, but that's literally Mighty Max's scoreline. And while Thomas and Crucial doing good work, K-Piz though gets 2 on the CZ, and Deos able to back him up. So we have a 2v2 on our hands. Surreal back in CT. With the AWP positioned ready to take on VAC. Has got an AWP in the hands of Deos though, so this could be a round that VAC can maybe win. they desperately need round wins at this point as well, Alex. So they want to make this half competitive. They've got to start here.
Only the one smoke for Vac means they can't fully cover this cross. Surreal will have an angle with the ult, and Vac don't want to give away their position, so they're not using the smoke right now. It might just be the dry peak, and Surreal's going to win that all day, every day. Now MBL will finally put this smoke down into CT spawn, so that might fully cover the cross, but it lands too short. Surreal gets a second shot. Easy pickings for him. And Endpoint up to a 10-1 lead. This is not quite the 16-0, I guess, is the upside for VAC. They've already got the one round on the boards. They're safe from that embarrassment, but there's not much else going right for them.
Nah, there's nothing really going right for them here, unfortunately. No warp this time on the T side either. Endpoint. It's going to be 2 opening kills this time, so they'll be so good at getting openings, but this time they get 3. Crucial, Surreal, they get aggressive and pick them off. Cape is going to be dropped as well, and Ents is now on his own. He's picked off. Clean, flawless round going in from Endpoint. 11-1 on the board. Absolutely nothing VAC could have done. And for anybody at home who is wondering, if you blinked, you might have missed it. That was a full buy from VAC.
Yeah, that's not really gone the way VAC wanted it to. I think is a safe way to put it. Thomas has picked up the auto sniper. He's not even the man with all the money. He could have asked Mighty Max to drop it for him, but he's like, you know what? I'm buying the auto for myself. I'm feeling it. Surreal's feeling it with the ult. He gets another kill, make it 2. Thomas goes down with the auto at the very least, but they know there's an ult holding this angle, and they don't really have the nades to deal with this sniper.
Robin. Oh, did he lag there? It looked like he did. Robin does hit the deck. MBL gets rid of him. Capers and MBL now into a 2v3. This round is looking still pretty good for Endpoint, but winnable for the T side. Problem is they are very low. Surreal is looking over the top of the pit, and he will be swung by MBL, who takes the headshot. So we're right back into a 2v2.
Yeah, the sniper gets sniped by the AK there at long range, but Mighty Max has got the flank and the frag he was looking for, and now Capes is trapped at A long. I don't know if they have spotted him though. Mighty Max is moving away from those long doors right now. Cape is about to get the bomb back into his hands, and he's looking to clear out this flank. He knows that Max is round one of these corners, but there's a lot of angles Max could be playing here.
Oh, Cape is swinging to the left side. It's Mighty Max that gets the kill, and the round is picked up by Endpoint. 12-1. Absolutely nothing VAC can do. When you take a look at this team overall, you see the individual skill. You see it on Dust too, but it doesn't happen. It hasn't come through just yet. And you've got to feel like, even if Emil Shine was here, I don't think they'd be able to do anything, because it really does feel like Endpoint are just outclassing them completely.
Yeah, I think this may be kind of the worst matchup for VAC, probably out of all the teams, just because if you're relying on skill and you're playing against an Endpoint team who might even just outskill you, probably do outskill you, then what can you even do at this point? You're just kind of getting run over round after round. Endpoint again getting aggressive. Robin is making the most of this game with 18 kills on the board. Mighty Max about to get one of his own, and it is 13-1. Endpoint want to make this a quick one. By the way, Dinko, I think Mighty Max has now elevated himself out of the Hawker role because he's got 7 kills on the board. I probably wouldn't have 7 kills. I'd have like 4, maybe.
I mean, you are getting better, Alex, ever since you decided to buy a 144 Hz monitor.
Finally, I did it. So much better.
Yeah, you're much better. You know, you can actually play CS with you. It's not unbearable anymore. But VAC may have a chance to get another round on the board here. It's going to be a B rush, a very standard play, and while Ents lighting them up, that's 2 kills. Mighty Max and Crucial both dispatched off, and now there might just be a chance for VAC to grab something else than just the one round. But Thomas does get himself a kill back in. So this retake, even though it's the B-bomb shot and Dust 2, is still possible. Maybe not anymore. That is a brilliant nade. And it does leave Robin on his own, the Swedish player looking to do it all, but he's got the Molotov and the timing on the push is just not good enough. 13-2 at the half. VAC, you just can't be happy with that, but at least they get more than one. Always a silver lining somewhere, Alex.
Yeah. Some positives to be taken from the half, I guess. Ents was also playing pretty well throughout. I think Ents ended the half with 11 kills, and he was the player in the pregame that I was saying I wanted to step up, but it's just no one else has stepped up for the team. And you saw in that round even, it was Ents who got the 2 entries onto the B site, who got them that round win there. So some good things for VAC in that sense, but it's hard to find many causes for celebration right now, considering just the way these rounds have been going as well. They haven't really looked close even.
Yeah, the rounds have just been unbelievably one-sided. Endpoint, we talked about their success and their ability to find those opening kills. Well, it was only just one most of the time, but then they decided to rack it up in a gun round and get 3 at once. So yeah, it's not easy stuff for VAC, that's for sure, but they've got to have a flawless CT half here. It has to be almost perfect, and well, that's not the perfect start.
Ooh, that's better though. Deos lands a nice shot over at A long. Team Dink taken to the back of the head by Ents. He's not going to be too pleased about that, and he is not going to be happy with that either. Surreal gets the long-range kill with the P250, and Endpoint are committing to the A long play.
Well, Cape is on the side itself. Deos missing shots. He will get one in the end. Cape is following up as well, but Robin and Surreal keeping it even for Endpoint. They all start to move on towards the site. Surreal on for his 3rd kill, and now it's only Cape is standing between them. He's done damage to everyone, and Robin will fall. Now Surreal, 45 HP, spotted. Cape is taking a heap of damage on board, but the bomb is not in the hands of Surreal. Cape
Does he not have ammo?
Yeah, he's making the right plays. Knifing back here, but is he on ammo? That would be absolutely unbelievable, but he's spotted. Surreal will get rid of him. P250 tries to pick him up, and Capers will fall. It's 14-2. Endpoint are 2 away from victory, and that pistol puts him in prime position.
It's such a frustrating round for VAC because they had the right idea. The flash was so good. I think it was 2 flashes. And Dinko, I asked if we're going to see the Bison. We are seeing the Bison. Robin's picked it up.
So I might as well give it a go. With 14-2 up. There's not too many issues going on right now. We'll see if this works. Well, Thomas. No, this is disgusting. 2 kills through the mid doors early. Bison as well. Just rub it in a little bit, Alex. This is just disgusting.
Robin tanks the first smoke, has to put one down of his own. Not a big deal, though. That Bison's got so many bullets, he can just spam that smoke. He's not scared.
He's not scared at all. 64 bullets in the magazine. They used to be
64
peas.
bullets of destruction.
They used to be peas, Alex. What are they now? Frozen peas? A little bit more damage?
Thomas has had the weirdest round. Just got a Glock kill through the smoke now.
Well, it's 15-2. And Ents is doing his best, but Crucial will get rid of him.
We're speechless, Dinko. Oh my, it's a Negev now for Thomas.
I mean,
Is he going to spam mid doors with the Negev?
They might as well. It feels like an exhibition match, so they might as well exhibit their skills on every gun, I guess, is the idea here for Endpoint. Negev straight down middle. A little bit of damage on towards Deos, but Endpoint feeling very, very comfortable indeed at the beginning of this round. This should be a win for them. And taking a look at the buy that VAC have brought to the table, it would be heroic if they can make it happen. But Mighty Max is going to take 99 damage early on. Deos just running straight through the tunnels, gets a headshot on towards Thomas. Robin burns away Capers, and now Surreal barreling up short. Might just be the bane of their existence with a kill coming in towards Lauti.
Surreal dropping down. He wants this done. Headshot is good onto the man in CT spawn. And VAC have got an auto shotgun and a Bison on the 2v4 retake. The CTs, or rather the Ts, are low on health, so maybe they have some slither of hope, but there are 4 players they got to deal with, and Robin and Surreal combine for the final kills. Endpoint with a very one-sided victory, 16-2. It never looked in doubt, Dinko.
No, it didn't. I think Endpoint will be very, very happy with that result. Obviously, yesterday they lost 16-9 to Chets, so that's not exactly the performance that you'd be expecting from them. And they come into today, they needed to make a statement, and well, they did it. I think Endpoint clearly are the favourites coming into the Prem. They've done so much online and really starting to be a team I'm a fan of based on, they're keeping this team together, they're keeping it going and putting the UK scene on the map again. So it's good to see. I think obviously we just seen across this, every single player on Endpoint stand tall. I think that's exactly what we've come to expect from this roster as well.
Yeah, definitely. And Robin is definitely a player who in this sort of game is just going to make plays himself, and that's something that you can rely on when he feels like he can outskill his opponents and just out-aim them. He's going to do that. Yeah. I think we saw the entire squad start to do that, to be honest. Thomas is definitely a player who can do the same. So overall, just too much for VAC to handle here, and that's what's going to happen in some games for this Endpoint team. They're just going to run over their opponents, and VAC are going to be sitting there. Like that second half pistol, for example, that could have been their way back into the game, maybe, but they just couldn't land their shots at that point. It felt like they were kind of just out the game by that point.
I mean, this is a highlight reel, right, of the match, but it really is just dominated by Endpoint. There's absolutely nothing they could do here from VAC, and they have so much individual skill. We see them take down teams they shouldn't consistently, it feels like, but Endpoint just a whole heap ahead. And while there's so many players playing so well, it's kind of hard to pick out the one that would be the player of the match. And that's exactly what you can do, though. If you think you can pick one player, head on over towards social media and have your choice of who the player of the match will be. You can see below who are your options. It's either Robin, Surreal, or Ents. Now, we did throw Ents in there. He was hitting some nice shots with the Deagle, but, 2 rounds on the board, it's not really a whole lot. Robin and Surreal, though, they played very, very well indeed. So they are the players of the match. Have your say over at ESL UK on Twitter. Make your vote and see if you are correct. Well, it's time for a break, ladies and gentlemen. That's our second map underway, and we've got a third one coming up after the break, so make sure you don't go anywhere. Stay with us.
That's why you don't with the big dog. Now listen here, you.
Tired of spanking your mates week in, week out? Come on! This sad little loser online from Albuquerque, New Mexico, without any rewards other than glory? Try Stickster now. Start using your legendary skills and making some real motherfucking money. Go on. Press it.
Parsec lets you play your entire library of games on any device, anywhere, with anyone, at any time. It's easy. Install Parsec and boom, your PC game library is at your fingertips. Are you bored playing solo? Share a link with anyone and go multiplayer. No friends online? Jump into Parsec's arcade and play with people from all around the world. Parsec's available for most things with screens. Download now.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the ESL Premiership powered by Intel. My name is Dinko. I'm going to be joined by Hawker. We have had 2 matches today, Alex, but it only felt like one. Endpoint absolutely decimating their opponents. Not exactly a matchup that the boys over at VAC will want to remember.
Yeah, definitely not. One-sided, and we kind of expected it to be an Endpoint win, but maybe not quite in that fashion, I guess is the way to put it.
Yeah, I think Endpoint coming into today obviously wanted to make a statement from their loss yesterday when they lost against Chet. Not exactly the most expected scoreline, but they come into this matchup, they definitely showed up, they played a lot better, and well, they continued to show success. And I think that's what we can expect from this Endpoint team on a more consistent level, right? You'd expect them to be beating their UK counterparts pretty damn easily.
Yeah, I think so, especially those sorts of teams. You know, like maybe against Reason, you could see it being close, maybe against some of the other teams. But like we were saying, for VAC, it's all been about the skill for them. And if they can't match up in terms of the skill, like they couldn't in this game, there's always going to be the risk that it just goes like this.
Yeah, so when you take a look at our next matchup that will be coming up a little bit in a few minutes, it's going to be the Pensioners taking on Eidos GG. Now, this is going to be an interesting matchup. I think when we take a look at what we've got on the table, the Pensioners are a team that have changed up the roster a little bit, but again, this team are a team you're pretty familiar with. Eidos, I personally am looking forward to see what this team can do. I know a few of the players on this roster. I think they definitely could do some damage, but we're going to take a look at the Pensioners roster first of all to sort of take a look at what we've got here. We know Lazar, we know JKM and Connor, but Riggin and Yuho, they're 2 players that are a little bit unfamiliar.
Yeah, Yuho, I think, is the Finnish player, and then Rigon, I believe, was playing on the secret team, right? I think that European mixed team that came up and started getting some results. I think they've been brought in just for this week so far. I don't think they've played much in the previous weeks, so that's going to be fun to watch out for. I want to see how those 2 do for sure.
Yeah, I think that's definitely an interesting thing to look at, but Eidos GG, this roster, I feel like coming into this probably don't match up so well against the Pensioners or some of the other teams we've mentioned or seen today. We've got the likes of Artist, Jay, Steffo, Extinct, Straff, and Zeth. This team definitely have a few individual players that can definitely be interesting. I believe Tom Clark is an Irish player. I think he used to go by the name of Cody or something like that. So he changes his name all the time, but it seems like he's going with Artist now. So maybe that's the name he sticks with.
Hopefully, once you make it to this point, you want to be sticking with your name because you're starting to make a name for yourself once you get into the Prem.
Yeah, I think it's got to the point where he has to choose something eventually, right?
Exactly.
But yeah, that's interesting. But coming up, of course, will be the Pensioners versus Eidos GG. And then we take a look at sort of how this is shaping up and the players that we've seen. Taking a look at that just from sort of an outside perspective, Holker, how are you expecting this one to go?
It's kind of a tough one to read because you look at it on paper and you think that the Pensioners should have the advantage in terms of skill, but they haven't got a win so far this season. Eidos were able to get a win against VAC, where Joshua played especially well and some of the other players chimed in. I still think, though, that with the players on Pensioners, they should be able to take it over the line, especially with those 2 newer players coming in.
Yeah, well, we have got the maps on screen. Vertigo and Mirage are the first 2 bans. Pensioners deciding to get rid of Vertigo. Eidos coming in and taking Mirage out. And the rest of the maps are starting to get banned. Are Nuke for the Pensioners and Inferno banned for Eidos. So in the entire day today, we're not going to be seeing Inferno. And that's interesting. Along with Mirage. And they're 2 maps we generally see quite a bit.
Yeah, a bit of a shift for some of these UK teams right now. That's nice to see. So we still got Overpass. We've got Train. And we have another map that I can't remember. Dust 2 still in there. So there's still that Puggy map potential in the mix. But again, leaning towards some tactical maps. And we end up on Train, which Eidos have already played twice. And that's the map they got their win on against VAC. So that's nice for them.
Yeah, Train, definitely a fun one to watch as well. We've got a bunch of different maps today. Luckily, not all the same one, which is always nice at the Prem. But Train is one I'm looking forward to seeing placed out. Because we've already discussed today the fact that the Krieg has been nerfed. Train is probably one of the most difficult T sides of NCS, so whether or not that Krieg being nerfed will play a huge part on Train is yet to be seen, but I'm assuming in theory it should.
Yeah, I'm also a bit worried for Pensioners, especially, I think, on the T side of Train, because I don't think they really generally have a solid 5 that stick together. Like I was saying, I think Yuho has just come in. Rigon seems to have just come in. I don't think they've played much this season at all. So that becomes really difficult. I feel like you need to have the good chemistry and the good team play and the fundamentals down on Train. And that's not easy to get if you're practicing with different players all the time.
Rigon reminds me of some sort of Game of Thrones character or something. That's the name.
Rickon?
It looks like Rickon.
Yeah.
But but it sounds like he could definitely be in Game of Thrones. Let's see if he has a bloodthirsty performance, because some of the characters in that show don't exactly do so well. But I'm assuming this guy's going to be a great individual. They brought him into the team for a reason, and knowing some of the players that are on the roster, we definitely expect him to pick up someone who can do some damage. So I'm looking forward to seeing what the Pensioners can do here. I'm looking forward to seeing if they can finally get a win, because it seems like every time I cast the Pensioners, they never really do anything. And it's kind of unfortunate, because it's always nice to cast some Irish players as well.
Yeah, especially because, the Pensioners roster has some players that we've seen on some really good teams. Like, they've got Luzza, they've got Eccles, who've been on top UK teams in the past. So you'd think this is where some of the talent is kind of dropping back down to, maybe if it doesn't work out with some of the top orgs. So they really should be probably doing better than they are. But I think it's always been that lack of in-game leader, that lack of sort of solid five that's always held this Pensioners team back, sadly.
Yeah, like they never really have consistency, even in their players' performances. Not so much just even the rosters, but the odds not looking so great for the Pensioners from you guys at home who have been voting who will win over at ESL UK. 37% of you predicted the Pensioners to walk away with success, while the other majority, 63%, take Eidos as your victors. And I am pretty interested to see if that will play out. I think I'm going to disagree with the general public and the general consensus. I think we'll be looking at an Pensioners win here if the individuals show up, and that is a very important talking point. Is the individuals have to show up. If they don't, then the Pensioners can fall flat, and we've already seen that in the past.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think I might side with you here. I just think that when I look at the Pensioners roster, especially with Rigon and Yuho coming in, I know that Rigon, I think he's a Swiss player for that secret team. He's definitely going to be a skilled player for this squad. So I think they should just have enough. They've also got Connor playing this week, who I've always thought is a really, really solid player, probably goes a bit under the radar. So I do think Pensioners should have enough. That Train is the only thing that's concerning to me. If they were playing a pug map, I think they could easily just outskill Eidos, but on Train it might not be that easy.
Yeah, and actually this Eidos team are actually a very impressive roster in terms of some of the players that they've got. You may not be exactly fully familiar with them, but they definitely have a lot of potential. I think Artist is going to be a player to watch. Make sure you keep your eye on him. He's definitely a very, very solid player. And we'll get right into it then. The pistol is a go. Pensioners will be on that CT side. Now, this is where things get a little bit interesting. I think if you get the CT start and the Pensioners build momentum, they could certainly be looking down the barrel of a win. But we'll see if that is the case.
Yuho up close with the USP to start this round. He's able to back away, and Luzza keeps him safe with the P2000 at range. The kills keep on coming. Connor with 2 kills over at Ivy. He doubles up with Jacob assisting. And now Artist, the man that you talked about, has got a lot to do there.
And he looks back. He rattles one shot out of the Glock. Looking for the headshot. He'll pick it up. Back in towards Olaf he runs. Spotted and tagged. He's dropped to 23. He'll be seeing if he'll be body bagged. He will take one headshot. Jake getting picked away. And our Artist has pulled this into a 1v1. This would be the 4K in the pistol.
Yeah, he's just slowly racked up these frags. Pensioners have really let this round slip by giving him these 1v1 fights, and this is sometimes what the Pensioners can run the risk of doing. The bomb's been dropped, though, so that's a problem that Artist has got to deal with. It's over at Ivy, and the time is ticking here. 43 seconds is still plenty of time, but he's got to go get that bomb, which will buy a chunk of time here for the Pensioners player Luzza in this clutch. He's just going to go for the fight. Luzza trying to land these shots. Both players whiffing. Reload for Artist, and now he crosses, but Luzza lands the shot he needed, and Pensioners just about save themselves the embarrassment of losing the 4v1.
Yeah, that could have been a heartbreaking way to start things off if you're the Pensioners, but they do get it done nonetheless. They can take a deep breath and realize, okay, we have got the pistol under our belt. It may not have been as clean as we would have liked it, but all that matters is that we got the win. They can come into this with a buy. It's going to be a pretty mixed buy of a couple of M4s, SMG, and an XM in the hands of Yuho. Eidos, it's a forced buy of their own on a few of the pistols, leaving a little bit of cash in the bank, but a few upgraded pistols and nids on 3 players. And Zeth has got that opening.
Oh, aggression from Rigon with the MP5 of all weapons. Don't see that too often. Looks like it's worked for him. He's got a kill elsewhere. Artist, though, in behind them. The knife could be huge here. Extra money in the bank. And the M4 in his hands. He won't be able to use it. But just the extra money is a good bonus for Artist. Puts him up to $6,500. Now the richest player on the server. and he instantly buys the AWP. That's what we want to see. You get the knife, you buy the AWP. You just have to do it.
Yeah, we'll see if that works out for him. We'll see if he can do anything on this T side. He can certainly try and open things up. There's no AWP against him, right? That's the big factor you have to look at here. No one's going to be challenging him, so he can have full reign across the map. Quite a lot of Irish presence on the server at the minute, which is good to see.
Good to see for some people, maybe.
Me.
Yeah.
Well, Giraffe is going to be forced forward. Giraffe with 3 Fs. We will look for the kill. Jacob takes him away. We've got ourselves a man advantage for the CT side.
He's poked his neck out a bit too far there, Dinko. Get it? 'Cause he's Giraffe. It's funny.
I get it.
It's really
he
funny.
may be one of those drafts that somehow survived natural selection. One of the short neck drafts. It's the last
could
one.
be.
Keep this man safe. Or his draft safe.
Well, the other ADOS players have also taken some damage. Jay Steffo down to 33 health. Extinct at 34. Artist is just going for the pick here, which I think is a pretty good idea here. 4v5. The AWP can try and get something going, but it's Jay Steffo who lands the one tap. Almost the second kill, but Artist is the man there on the trade, and the kills are all going in favor of IDOS. Only Rigon left to try and clutch.
Rigon, can he make it happen? 1v3, 35 seconds. He'll start to emerge from the connector. Moving out on towards the site itself. The bomb is pretty far away, but it will be recovered by IDOS. But Rigon's going to get himself into a position where he can cause a few problems. Careful to your left, but there's the first. The second as well. Rigon is making this happen. He makes the right read and he looks towards Ivy. He spotted the last player. It's Artist trying to come into the site. He will find himself the headshot and the 3k in conclusion. And the round will go in favor of IDOS. And Artist really is the player that's the shining light right now for IDOS.
Yeah, well played by Artist there, especially once it comes down to the 1v1. He switches away the AWP for the AK just to make sure he's as safe as possible, just to make sure he doesn't miss the shot and then just lose the round straight away. Gives him a bit more breathing room with the AK. And IDOS, after putting some pressure on in these early rounds, have forced Pensioners down to a weakened buy here in round 4. Flashes over A main already, and Jacob unable to line up that opening.
On towards the site, Luzza moves forward with CZ. It's going to be Giraffe with 1, a double kill for Giraffe, and that does put Rigon and Connor into a very unwinnable position now with their deagles. So we might just see what they can find, but it's probably not going to be too much, if anything.
A save is what seems to be the call at this point. It's interesting that Jacob saved so much money over on the Pensioners side. Maybe saving for an AWP, maybe even just being able to drop some pistols in this next round. See what he decides to do with his boatloads of cash. But yes, IDOS will be winning this round and saving over quite a few SMGs into this next one, which I assume they will keep. Safe in the knowledge that Pensioners don't have great money here. So a good start for IDOS. After some early round losses, they strike back in the gun rounds. And it looks as though we will get a couple of investments here for Pensioners. It's all Jacob buying in this round, up to 1.8k. Buys the Deeg, the Smoke, the Flash. He doesn't drop any of his teammates. He buys all the stuff for himself.
Well, the Pensioners set up with 1 player boosted on top of the server. You might have a little battle here, Connor. Going his way. Steffo with the MAC-10, see what he can find. Extinct has already pushed up with his MAC-10 through the back of Ivy. He will do damage, but they know where he is. Jay Steffo will win the battle against Connor. Artist opening things up as well. Rigon coming back in with the Deagle and does well to find the kill. Now we're into a 4v2. IDOS GG looking for the kills, and they will get pretty much all of them. JKM stands back with the Deagle. Headshot picked up as Jay Steffo hits the deck. But it's still going to be a big round to recover here from JKM. A huge one in that. They see the opening. They sprint the bomb to B. This round is just not going to happen for the Pensioners. It's IDOS who will take the lead as JKM is just being toyed with inside of the A-bomb site.
Ooh, good shot onto Zeth. But as you said, bomb over on the B site means that Jacob is just going to have to save what he can. UMP and a Deeg currently, as well as the Kevlar. Could just go for exit kills. Eidos's money isn't too well established, and Pensioners should be buying next round, whatever happens. At the same time, though, Yuho's money is kind of weak, so Jacob could maybe save the UMP. It might be used by one of his teammates, and Eidos aren't offering up any fights at the end here. Both teams will save their guns into the next round, but it's Eidos who will get themselves the lead for the first time in this game.
Well, Eidos, so far, I think look like the better team overall. I think that's fair to say. From the eye test at the beginning, they just have a little bit more about them, especially on this D side, right? That's when things should look a little bit more comfortable for the Pensioners, but no. Eidos have definitely shown up, and well, Artis is showing up in a big way. He's 9-2 right now, and he's got that AWP in his hands. JKM has the AWP in his, and we'll see that battle ensue, but it's Zeth already out on towards the site. The kill picked up as Yuho and JKM both biting the dust. It's a huge play from Zeth. I have no idea how he's allowed to stand alive so long in the open like that.
Oh, it's only Rigon left? Okay then, he's rotating over, but I don't know how much he can do. The answer is not enough. Eidos get the round win. Again, a quick one onto the A-bomb site. Like you said, Zeth getting away with the 2 entry kills to get them off on the right foot from the get-go, and then the rest of the players follow through onto the bomb site. Pensioners unable to stop the Eidos squad. And this is scary now for Pensioners, losing a bunch of these early rounds. Looks like Eidos are able to run most of their strats successfully so far. It hasn't been too taxing for them in these early rounds. Other than the pistol round, Pensioners haven't been able to do too much so far. We'll see if they can do something in this round, though. They have got pistols, but the B site is currently wide open, and that's where Eidos are going. Yuho's rotated back, though.
Well, Yuho with a deagle kill, Rigon as well. 4v2, and the Pensioners are into a winnable position, a favorable position at that. Eidos sit back and try and recover this round, but their legs have been spotted. Extinct has taken a little bit of damage to the feet. Artist in behind him with the AWP. The Molotov is going to go right into the bomb site, but it's not going to really reach the mark of Yuho, who will be spotted and dropped off the top of the train, but still, kill continues to come through. It's only Extinct left into the 1v3. He's found one, he turns back and another picked up. It's on to Luzza, a P250 against Extinct, who is on his own with an AK. He'll stand inside of the site, moving to the left, jumping up, but it's the P250 right between the eyes. Extinct will fall, and a pistol wing comes in for the Pensioners.
There we go. That's a good way to get back on track for the Pensioners. Even though they stacked the A site to start that round, they were able to rotate back to B in time. Then they got a couple of players there to be able to overwhelm the players that were pushing from Eidos. And that's what got them into a position where they could actually have a chance of winning the round. And even though Extinct nearly stole it away from them, they get the round win. But Eidos back to this fast A play. This has worked so well for them. They're going to continue to try it.
Well, Zeth able to pick himself up one. It's Rigging gone. Connor doing work. Yuho finding a kill for the CT side, but it's Eidos that continue to move forward up until this point where Luzza managed one. But it's Jacob, a 1v2 for the M4A1S. The bomb not yet planted, not even in the possession of the T's at the moment, and JKM has got his way up popped up, but he's been spotted, and now he's stuck between 2 players. He makes the right call, turns back towards T-Con, and Artis is picked off, and JKM nearly pulls off the double, but it's Draft that walks away with a win. It's 5-3, and Eidos, another close one, but they edge it out.
Yeah, again, just about getting it over the line. These fast A plays are something that Pensioners are not dealing with right now. They're not really using their nades to deny the early push out through T main. They're not really aware, it seems, that Eidos are pushing so quickly in these rounds. Even though they've seen it before, they can't stop the aggression onto the bomb site. Yuho had an AWP on the bomb train, so he got traded out pretty quickly once he landed one shot because they were so close range against his sniper. Doesn't work out for Pensioners, and now they have to try and do the same. Win a miracle round with pistols, and Artis has landed a good shot to kick things off.
Yeah, one Draft is in with a headshot. Rigging gone. It's into a 4v3. An advantage in play for the Eidos side, including a plethora of upgraded weapons that are much better here than what the Pensioners have brought to the table. Jay Steffo has made his way through the back as well. It's going to be Draft with a headshot. Extincts as well. JKM gone. It does leave Luzza. And a 1 versus 4. He does find himself at AK. So maybe he can chip away at them, but pulls the knife at the wrong time, and Jay Steffo will find himself an easy kill. 6-3 here for Eidos, and they are showing up.
Yeah, definitely showing up so far in this game. We've got a different double AWP setup now for pensioners. Oh no, so it has been dropped over to Yuho. This is what we were seeing earlier. Both Lizza and Yuho picking up the AWPs. Obviously, we know Lizza can be an explosive AWPer. Yuho picking one up as well. Both those AWPs on the A site. So I think this is just to try and stop the quick rush out through T main. They want to have these AWPs on these angles, but the smoke denies the early vision of Lizza. He's got to reposition.
Well, Yuho scoped in towards T-Con. It's going to be a push from Riggin out and towards the site he's going to hold off. Extinct gets completely bamboozled by that and taken off the server. Man advantage in play. Eidos are going to be heading in towards the B-bomb site. Standard execute. Smokes in as they go through. It's a deep run. JCam has spotted no one diving through the smoke up until that point. And then Mac-10, a drive-by. Shooting from Zed. It's huge. That allows them to get control of the bomb site. Big swing from J Steffo. Manages one towards Luzza, but that's all he will find. Seth gets one, but Connor is left alone. And now he will have to fall away. The AWP being saved on over and another round being picked up by the Eidos side. 7-3 on the board, and this is impressive.
Yeah, Pensioners finally counter the fast A main plays that were coming through from Eidos in those earlier rounds, but Eidos show they've got more up their sleeve. They've got more rounds available to them. They go for this B play. That Mac-10 just jumping through the smoke somehow gets away with the kill onto the bomb site. That was so well taken by Eidos. And then at that point, once they're on the B site, they know that they've got a great chance at winning the round. They can continue to push into the back trains to make life difficult for Pensioners, and Connor's forced to save the AWP. So once again, Pensioners just unable to hold these bomb sites right now. They're just not doing enough on the holds with their individuals. They're going down so quickly that the rotates are never really coming through in time. They're not able to buy time for the rotate to come through. This is Eidos just outclassing Pensioners right now.
Well, Giraffe sitting back has got himself the AK available. He'll move forward and rig on with a beautiful Deagle skin. We'll look to splat a little bit of blood over the wall. Just hiding in behind the wall himself. And this time, they need everything they can get, the Pensioners. A patient default coming in from Eidos as they work their way through Ivy. They're really waiting on that play to come through first of all. Artist. Oh no! Luzza peeking around the corner, getting a double with the Deagle. And now things completely shift. The Pensioners in full control.
Extinct has to make the play onto B here. He realizes he's got to do something because they're down in a 2v4, and Extinct goes for the fight, but Luzza has got the AWP on the angle, and now Giraffe is going to make noise. There's a flank coming through. Rigon knows the players at ramp. He's got all the information for his teammates. As Giraffe moves into the bomb site, they're going to know exactly where he is. Giraffe unable to win the fight. Jacob too quick on the trigger. Pensioners get their 4th round win in what has been a pretty scrappy game so far, I think it's fair to say.
Yeah, it has been a very scrappy game, back and forth. I think Eidos' individual skill is pretty much the only thing that's winning them rounds. I think they obviously have a nice setup, but the defaults don't really work as well as they probably should be. You know, they have the idea behind it, but it's in practice that it seems to falter a little bit. It don't really work to kill out of Pensioners early on Ivy. They definitely should have been able to pick off something that... J Steffo already up in front. It's Connor with a kill. Rigon and Luzza finding them all. And there it is. Luzza with a 3k. That's the type of open you want to see from this guy. 5 on the board for the Pensioners and a perfect round for them to pick up.
Bit of a whiffed spray down from J Steffo there. He probably should have got that kill, but Luzza gets away with it and then goes for the repeat on the last man as well, even though he was only on 13 health, which was ballsy, but that's what Luzza likes to do sometimes. He wants to take fights, and I think with how this game has been going so far, you can't really blame him for that. He wants to get round wins on the board. That's what Pensioners have done in that round, shutting down the fast A play, and that's what Eidos were finding a lot of their early success with. So finally, Pensioners have countered that fast A aggression. This time, though, Eidos all grouping up over to B, and we could see a fast B play.
Well, rushing on in through the lower ramp, puts us J-Cam and Rigon finding kills. It's Steffo, though, who gets 2. Artist with a follow-up on the Glock, and oh my god. We did say this was scrappy, Alex, but this is something else.
Oh, Good shot from Connor. Wasn't given much room to work with, but here's Jay Steffo in the back lines. They don't know he's here, but he can't land the shots. 1v1 now for Connor. Artist has got the AK. He spotted the player. Luzza trying to close the distance, but Artist is sneaking out. This is so smart from Artist. He sees the fake defuse, sprays away, and Artist outmaneuvers Luzza to win the 1v1.
Well, Eidos, 8-5. On the scoreboard, the Pensioners got a double up set up in the hands of Connor and Luzza. M4 is across the board. This is an important run for both sides. Their money is at breaking point, Alex. Another one of those swing rounds we like to talk about. Eidos already having 8 on the board will confirm themselves at least the round lead going into the second half. And that's impressive from the T side of Train.
Ooh. Yuho's aggression in Pop Dog finally pays off for him. The bomb dropped early into this round. He's got more nades he could use to try and lock down this position. He could put down a smoke rig on here to assist, and it's an absolute mow-down. Eidos trying to drop down Pop, and Artist gets 1 kill back. There's another player close. Rigon's got to be careful here. He doesn't want to give this away, but somehow gets away with it. The shadow was spotted, and still Rigon gets away with both frags.
Well, last round of the half, the Pensioners walk away with that round, and they'll be wanting more on the board. Eidos will invest everything they possibly can. Seth with the AK, the Deagles picked up for the rest. Tech9 for a draft to ruin it. But the Tech9 has seen a little bit of an increase. So we'll see whether or not it can get anything done. Round 15 though, Alex. Luzza has certainly showed up. In the last 2 rounds at least.
Ooh, flashbang forces Connor off the angle. Again, this double up setup has shifted slightly. Yuho was AWPing earlier, but he's pushed in Pop Dog in this round, so I don't think he wants the AWP in that position. Gives it to Connor to hold Ivy. Jacob playing safe on B. He's got the molly ready in case any players push his position. Eidos just working this slow default, trying to see if there's a pick available for them. But Pensioners are playing it pretty safe right now. And there's not that much utility left for Eidos as they lose their first man.
Rigon with a good kill. Connor sitting back in behind the smoke. They'll start to walk in towards him. It's going to be Luzza holding on the best as he possibly can. It will not be a kill for him. Connor, though, will pick up one. Rigon and Yuho as well. Does leave Jay Steffo into a 1v4 himself, and he will get one. Pulls the Deagle back and goes for more, but Rigon gets rid of him, and it will be the Pensioners who get themselves 7th round on the board. 8-7 coming in the second into the second half. We've got as close as it can possibly be. So a great match to end the day here, Alex, so far.
Yeah, absolutely. Back and forth throughout the entirety of that first half. I'm glad that Pensioners have been able to recover as well, because I think they're going to need as much room as they can work with heading into this T side. And we're also going to have to see the team play come through more on this T side, which is the concern that we were worried about. But maybe Pensioners have got the fast plays going. But I think that's the best bet for them, to be honest. If you don't have the practice put in as 5 players, if you just go for those fast A main rushes like we saw from Eidos, you can just kind of rely on your individuals and just your pace to catch your opponents out.
Yeah, I feel like the Pensioners at least pull it back, like you said. That is a very positive point, but I feel like they should have done way more on the CT side, and they really could have done more. I think they've put themselves in a difficult position, if I'm being honest. I think Eidos have great individuals, and I think they showed that. So this CT side is definitely going to be an interesting one for Eidos to keep an eye on. And it's good to see some more new players come into the scene, because I know a few of these guys, but never really seen them compete at this level of the UK scene, right? So it's good to see them here. Good to see them fighting for spots. And we'll see if they can take down the Pensioners. 8-7 into the lead by 1, but this pistol is very important.
CZ dropped over to Giraffe for this pistol. Steffo takes a smoke. No kit for the CT side, which is worth remembering in case that bomb gets planted later on. Pensioners, meanwhile, have got the P250 dropped for Yuho, who's currently their bottom fragger, but Rigon just assassinates Giraffe from behind. That's the CZ out of the round, and Rigon will take that into his own hands.
Well, Jay Steffo sits back in behind the smoke. They start running towards him. The USP in his hands. He'll find one. Looking for a follow-up, and it's Connor who will hit the deck. Luzza with one, and while Extinct getting the double with the USP. Man advantage here for the CT side. Luzza sitting back in towards Hell. Cloak in his hands, holding the headshot angle. Still plenty of time for the Pensioners to work their way into this one. Smoking a flash to the left as well here on JKM. But this might be the patience paying off, and, well, Extincts is too quick on the trigger. Headshot picked up, and Luzza hits the deck. JKM will fall as well. Artist will confirm the pistol win here for IDOS, and that is a 3K from Extinct as well.
Extinct only the second man on his team up to double digits in terms of kills. Artist very much leading the way up there at 20 frags, but they're getting the round wins, which is the most important thing, and the rest of the squad are very, very close together on the fragging. They've got a chance to improve those numbers in this round because they're against a couple of Glocks and then some Deegs. I'm surprised that Rigon's bought so heavily with the armor as well. He's down to $650.
Well, Zeth. MP9 close up. It's going to be the Pensioners making their way over towards the brown holes. And yeah, quite a bit of investment from Rigon. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that this was definitely a misbuy. I don't think you'd be going for this kind of Kevlar helmet situation, especially the helmet. That's the bit that gets me.
Yeah, he can still take a Mac 10 into the next round, I guess. It's not going to be the end of the world for him. And there's always the chance that Rigon can just hang back and wait for some trades next round and then maybe recover one of his teammates' guns, take one of his teammates' AKs. So that could always work. Maybe they just get the bomb plant, though. They're bursting onto this B bomb site. Giraffe with a spray down onto the first, but Rigon's Deeg comes into play, and the kills for Pensioners are paying off. The Deegs are working out for them.
Well, Yuho does get rid of Artist. Jay Steffo at the back lines. Oh, beautiful skin, by the way. There are new ones just keep popping up that look good. This one is a good one.
What's it say there at the bottom of the skin? There's some text. I love skins?
Skins. That would be interesting.
I need him to inspect his skin, but he's not gonna. Because he's focused on the fights.
Yeah, we're like magpies who've seen something shiny.
Yeah.
And while JKM with the kill, the MP9 will take away Steffo. It's the Pensioners who get themselves an 8th on the board. So we have got the Pensioners fighting back early in the second half. That's exactly what you want to see, Alex. Not exactly around that they should have won, considering we just had a deagle for Rigon.
Yeah, now IDOS's money is screwed. They go for the force buy, and it's not a great force up, but it's what they've got to go with. Giraffe gets an MP9, Steffo's got the scout, and their own weapons are being used against them. Yuho saved that M4 over from the previous round. There's also an MP9 on the T side for JKM. Giraffe's about to fight him, though, facing again through upper B, and again he gets caught. Rigon with one kill before he's traded. It's looking good for Pensioners so far, especially with that kill from Connor.
Connor taking away Seth. Artist trying to do his best, but is overrun by Luzza. And it's 9-9, bomb planted. DRS, oh, nearly planted, not quite. And, well, 9-9, we're even again. This is one of the matches, when we looked at overall, this is definitely was in consideration to be the one to watch, mainly because we know how close it could have been. And while it has started to deliver on that closeness, Alex, we've got ourselves 2 good games today. I think Endpoints was obviously very, very quick and one-sided, but this is complete opposite. Great battle so far, and now the Pensioners should be heading into the lead.
The nade stack wasn't a bad idea, but Pensioners were well positioned to not take much damage from those nades, even though they have players in team main. So unfortunately, the investment from IDOS isn't going to do much for them. Giraffe trying to jump over with the Zeus, I think. Trying to get into that corner. Doesn't work for him. Jacob's already in position, and the money is stacked over on the Pensioners side after some convincing round wins.
Yeah, 10-9, double figures, money in the bank. This is starting to look good. If IDOS lose this one, obviously they're going to be in the bin completely. And even coming into this one, to get an AWP into the hands of Artist, they've had to sacrifice Kevlar, so he's going into the glass cannon. Not a whole lot of utility either to hold this off. The Pensioners are certainly favourite to win this one.
Yeah, once IDOS use these early round smokes, they have, what, 2 smokes and a single flashbang left? I guess you can count the decoy if you really want to. It's probably not going to do much. Oh, Extinct, he's been baited. He's been baited in, and the molly almost gets the kill. The nade also tickled him down to 8 health. That is not the best start to the round, and Jay Steffo hits the deck. That's even worse.
Tickling, everyone's favorite torture technique, and we'll see if Rigon can keep it up. It's going to be Extinct hitting the deck. Artist coming around the back lines. There's the kill of the glass cannon. Yuho down. Zeth is going to be caught, but Artist, he's still alive. Back in Ivy with the ult in his hands. He did have an opportunity, but didn't quite take it. Giraffe's going to move through the smoke, trying to deny the bomb plant. He won't be able to do that, but he certainly will drop Connor.
No support for Connor as he plants, and Giraffe is already on the bomb site. Jacob having to go for the fight to turn it into the 1v1 against the man with glass cannon. Smoke goes down, you're right. That's going to cause issues for Jacob, but he's got the nades of his own. Can he use them, though? He's got Flashbang out right now.
Yeah, he has a molly as well. That's the most important piece. Taps on towards Artist. He's off the bomb. Artist is moving up through the smoke. This might just cost Jacob. He needs to be careful. On the right side, Artist spams away. He doesn't quite see his opponent. Well, this is so well played from Jacob, making it happen for the Pensioners. They will get an 11th round on the board.
Yeah, I'm surprised, like you said, that Jacob doesn't use the molly there, but fair play to him. The positioning was just right. He knew that he could see the bomb around the left side. He doesn't get pushed through the smoke, which nearly went against him. If those smokes were in slightly different positions, he could have gone down there, but he was in control of the situation, and now it's Idos's turn to have some weakened buys at the start of this second half. Luz has already got the opening frag of this round. Flash assist for Connor. Just thrown over the top of team main. But this time, Giraffe's got a kill on the B aggression. And with Jay Steffo chiming in, Pensioners have got to be careful here.
They really do. Jay Steffo sitting back. Loza with the AEK, looking to see what he can do, looking to see if he can pick anybody off. It's JKM who gets rid of Zeth. Smoke is going to go in towards the connector. Steffo just sitting back with the Deagle in below the ladder. And Loza there as well. Bomb plant coming through. Draft starting to make his way up. Can't quite deny, but he might just get the kill on towards Luzza if the timing's right and the positioning is strong. And, well, there it is. Draft had an opportunity, but Luzza stays alive. Oh, my God, he runs back in. I thought not for long, but he gets rid of Jay Steffo easily. And now Draft with no kit, no Kevlar. He has got a smoke, but this is not looking good. The Pensioners should be picking this one up without much of an issue now at this point. A great round so far from Eidos to bring it this close and do this much damage, and it's not over just yet. Draft still doing more. He will not be able to pick up another kill, but still. Decent round from Eidos. Money in the bank. 12-9 now on the board for the Pensioners. 4 away from victory.
Yeah, I think the unfortunate part of this from Eidos is some of those earlier rounds against them were so one-sided that they haven't put too much of a dent in the Pensioners' economy. They've at least bought back the money of Connor and Yuho a bit, but some of the Pensioners players have still got a ton of cash, so it won't be easy to reset this T-side economy. Early flashes over A main, as we see so often, and Rigon's going to make the most of them. The spray, he's blinded himself, he's mollied off as well. Rigon in all sorts of trouble as the early trades begin.
Well, great kill. Artist getting rid of JKM. It's going to be a 3v3. On the back line, Juho is going to take a headshot. Jay Steffo hits the deck. Nade ready. Artist is going to toss that in. Draft starting to emerge from the connector. Spots a couple more. And Draft will fall away back in behind the Molotov. Nade goes through. Luzza dropped to 55 and comes away with the bomb plant secured. The Pensioners looking for their 13th, but Artist is still alive. From the back, he'll find one kill. Draft backs him up with another almost simultaneously. And now Connor playing on the E-box manages one under the head of Artist. Flash is good as he swings to the right, and Draft will take him down. It's a round picked up by Eidos, but again, another close one, right down to a 1v1.
Good effort from Connor at the end there. I like how he used that flashbang, and he peeked slightly before the flashbang even blinded the opponent because he knew it was going to land behind the E-box. So he was really looking to get the drop on his opponent. It allowed him to hold the angle, but unfortunately Giraffe's just too quick landing those shots. So even though Connor made a nice move there, it just doesn't work out in the individual fight for him. Again, though, this one remains close as Eidos have got themselves another somewhat scrappy buy. Some nades missing, a FAMAS in play, and Artist lands the shot on the player below Luzza. Luzza goes off the angle just as Artist goes for the further fight. And again, it's all action at the start of this round. Luzza's got one kill back, but he's spotted. His leg is going to be his detriment in this round. Artist gets the kill below the train. Oh my god.
Oh, JKM catches Artist trying to walk forward towards T-Con. It's going to be Jay Steffo who gets rid of Riggin. Got ourselves only one player, and it's JKM picked off. Immediately, when things are looking good for the Pensioners, they're up 12-9. Everything is looking good for them. Money is in the bank. That's when Eidos strike back, and now it's 12-11. Money is no longer good for the Pensioners. They will invest everything they possibly can into this. But if they lose this round, Alex, they're right back to the bin, and that's where Eidos take control of this game.
Yeah, these past couple of rounds have just been complete chaos as Pensioners go for these A plays over and over again. But I think finally they've been thwarted from going from the fast plays. This time, though, they go over at Ivy, and Jay Steffo was trying to get aggressive, maybe thinking that Ivy would be clear. That's not the case, though. There are two players waiting for him, and now Eidos have to fight from the back foot for the first time in a while.
Zeth sitting back in the corner. He will be there with one. Could pick up on towards Yuho. Follow-up kill from Extinct as well, and he'll go back for more. Connor will find a headshot. Extinct will fall. Zeth able to pick up a frag on towards Connor. Loves and Riggin into a 2v3. Pensioners could certainly still win this, but Eidos in the driver's seat in round number 24. Bomb's still in their possession, so if Riggin can do anything here, that would be huge. There's the headshot, draft gone. Now they know where the bomb is, but it doesn't matter because Riggin continues to move forward. He's got himself a second. That's 3 overall in the round. And now Artist up inside of heaven. He needs to deliver.
Oh, he spots the players, but the window's not broken, so as he drops down, they know where he is. No scope onto the bomb site, and he turns it into the 1v1. He has the kit to work with as well, so he can tap this bomb, and Luzza's got to go into the open. Luzza's not fallen for it, though. He's staying behind the green train. Artist is working round here with the AWP. The smoke fades. Artist misses the shot, but they both miss. Now Artist goes on top of the train. He spots Luzza. He's going back for the bomb here. He's trying to see if he can stick this one. He knows that Luzza has run away. Luzza needs to get into the open now, and Artist doesn't get the defuse. Luzza finds it just in time, and Pensioners win an incredibly close round.
That was so close. Artist nearly pulling it off. Over flicks to the right on his first opportunity to win the round. Goes back in for the defuse and was milliseconds away from winning that. Luzza comes through for the Pensioners, and it's 13-11. What a game this is, Alex. So close at every round. And we will see a force buy come in from the CT side. It's not a great buy, but they have left enough in the bank to get their buy into the next one.
There ain't no rest for the wicked, Dinko. It's another fast round. Yuho pushing out through T-Main. Another kill for the CTs. The Zeus kill for Giraffe. It's all gone horribly wrong for Pensioners. Off the back of the clutch in the previous round, they're in trouble in this one.
I hate the call to go fast. I absolutely hate it in front of the Pensioners. Feel like they definitely could have slowed that one down a little bit. Take a breather from all the chaos that has just been ensuing. They've given Eidos a way back into this. This should have been the Pensioners grabbing 14, but Connor is still alive. He may be able to do enough to get his team the win and to rectify the mistakes made early. He'll come back up through the top ramp, looking in towards the brown halls.
No kit, no nades for the CTs. That gives them a chance.
And they've all come in from the same position, though. That's the problem. And he's got the AWP, so they're just watching the ramp. He hasn't been able to sort of dilute this defense at all. So full sticks coming in. Nice quick shot. Takes away Artist. That's really, really intelligent not to immediately look for the bomb. And when he's going to go back, misses the shot, and Steffo will get rid of him. Another close attempt from Connor, unfortunately going the way of Eidos.
You definitely see a world in which Connor could have won that there. That second shot, if that lands, I don't know if there's time for the defuse. I think he might have had it, but even though Connor did his best, his teammates were all dead at the start of the round, so he should never really have been in that position in the first place. Like you said, the decision to go quick in that round is probably what cost them, especially because Eidos have been willing to push through B in a bunch of these rounds. Giraffe does it again in this one. If you were just waiting in a default, you'd probably get the kill onto Giraffe there, but it doesn't happen for them. But now Pensioners are the ones who have the weak buy. This is anyone's game as Steffo dies in his own molly, I think. I don't know.
I don't know what happened there, but he is dead.
He died at Ivy, so I guess his own molly?
Maybe. Maybe he killed himself with a nade or something. I don't know. Oh, Artist doesn't get rid of Luzza. Now the pistols starting to look less likely to be successful. But there is still all that opportunity still available to them. Zeth just needs to fall here, and that's exactly what Yuho will do. little bit laboured, but eventually we'll get the same result. Yuho has an M4, jumps up on top of the ladder. His teammate falls. It's now only Yuho, and he will fall. 13-13, scoreline even again.
Pensioners don't have fantastic money, but at this point of the game, they decide they have to buy. With the score being even, with there not being many rounds left to work with, they're going to go for the investment. Not too many nades, full AKs at the very least, although Rigon is without a helmet, which is a shame because he's been the top fragger. He's been the standout man for the T side. Artist, though, on the CT side has been the standout performer, and he's peaking B early with this AWP.
Flash goes out. It's going to be Steffo trying to play off the back of it. Corner. Oh no, this is not exactly the most successful at the start, but then walk away with their reward. That was very scrappy, Alex, but CTs, they make it work anyway.
Eidos have pushed through B again. They keep doing this. They keep getting away with it. They're going to do it again. Giraffe's on the flank, and Pensioners have got no clue what's about to hit them. Giraffe doesn't even get the kill. It's Zeth that steals it away, but that's just too much map control that Pensioners are giving away. Great shot from Yuho, though. Maybe they're still in this. Oh, it's a team kill.
Team kill. Oh, no, that is absolutely heartbreaking because this is a round that Pensioners needed everything. They had the deficit already, but that makes it so much more difficult to win. JKM now the last remaining player in a 1v4. Eidos are going to grab 14 unless JKM makes this happen. He has the bomb and he's sprinting towards B.
It's another bomb plant, maybe. Not even guaranteed, though, because Artist is pushed in through upper. Smoke should keep him safe for the time being, but how can Jacob get into a position to win this round? He flashes, might give away his position somewhat.
It's a decoy.
It's actually a decoy. I've been debated.
Yeah, you fell for the decoy, Alex.
What a news.
He does have a flash. He still has one. He'll make his way back in towards CT. And just holding on. Smoke is on towards the bomb. He has a decent little lineup here if he can go quickly, but he's got so many obstacles in his way. The defuse will come through. Absolutely no problem from the Eidos side. JKM at least gets the money, but he will fall at the end as well. The money is not good here for the Pensioners. Eidos should be getting 15 here. Now Pensioners have the decision. Do we go for a half buy and save for overtime?
Looks like that call has been made. They are going for the half buy. Quite a few nades alongside these pistols, and honestly, with how this game has been going, we've seen the chaos in these rounds, so they can definitely put themselves in positions where these pistols can find success if they keep finding some of these close fights that have been happening so far throughout this game. They've also got the Deegs, so they can just wait at distance. And this time, Pensioners, I think, are just waiting for this B aggression that we've seen so often from Eidos. They're hoping to punish that, but Eidos are aware that they're against a weaker buy, or they could be against a weaker buy here, so they're not going for the B aggression this time round.
Holding on, Giraffe will get one. Extinct as well, and Giraffe with another. This bomb plant won't even come through. It's 15-13. Eidos with a flawless round win. One away for victory here. Pensioners have fought hard, but in these last few rounds, it started to crumble. It's do or die time. It's overtime, or it's over.
Overtime, or it's over, is exactly the way to put it for Pensioners at this point. They're close to being able to be in with a chance of getting their first win on the board, but right now it's not looking likely. Artist up there at 32 kills, has got the AWP in his hands, and Luzza has got the early aggression out through team main.
Well, Artist with a kill, Luzza gone.
Where's the follow-up? I guess his teammates got mollied off, but yeah, it's just an easy pick.
It's simple, no trade, no pressure even applied. The Pensioners just let it slide. Now they're going to go back in towards B. The smoke deploys in towards the lower ramp. Draft has spotted one player close already, but they continue to run forward. Lineup is there. Draft gets one.
Oh, Seth gets one on the other side of the map, and Giraffe does give away his life. That may give Pensioners a chance, especially with Rigon landing a second shot. He crosses over, tries to take the fight, but Artist is there with the AWP, and it's all on Connor.
Well, Connor, he's been in clutches so far, but this is going to be very, very difficult. He connects the first. Jumping in towards the site, looking for the second or towards Zeth if possible, but it's not going to be easy for him. Connor goes and he will fall. Artist makes it happen. And Eidos, they will walk away with victory 16-13. What a game that was. So close at every turn, Alex. Back and forth we went, but it's the Pensioners who take the loss and Eidos come out on top.
Yeah, huge win there for Eidos. It really did come down to the wire. Pensioners, I think, will be kicking themselves knowing that they could have got their first win on the board in a bunch of those rounds. I think that round that you pointed out, Dinko, where they went for that fast play against what was the weakened buy, that might have been the round that really cost them. That's the round that you look back on at the end of the game and you just think to yourself, man, if we didn't go fast there, maybe we get the win, but it doesn't work out like that.
Yeah, it really felt like that changed the pace, right? And there were so many crazy plays, even early on when Artis got that knife kill. And I pointed this guy out as a player to watch at the beginning of this, and he certainly showed up. He certainly delivered in quite a bit of style. I'm going to say, though, Eidos do walk away with this win, but neither of these teams looked clean, right? There was a lot of mistakes. You have to remember, there was even a round where the Pensioners won off the back of one invested eagle. Like, there was times when both of these teams looked super shaky, and they still have a lot of mistakes to fix. So I think they definitely have to be aware of some of the evident problems, and both of these teams have a lot to improve on. But boy, did it make for a very, very entertaining matchup.
Yeah, I think you also saw both teams on the T sides kind of struggling because I don't think they had too many of the slow plays really planned out, either the defaults or the executes. I don't think they really had those in their locker in this game, so they continue to go back to these quick aggressions that kind of just felt like a toss-up in a bunch of these rounds. It just came down to who dodges the nades, who wins the opening fights, and in the midst of all the chaos, sometimes you might win those rounds, but you can't just keep doing that over and over again, otherwise it gets a bit predictable.
Yeah, I mean, we did just see some crazy stuff throughout the whole day. I mean, Endpoint, the likes going 16-2, incredible stuff. But we're going to take a closer look at today's results and really remind ourselves of what happened, because there were a few longer games. So we started off with the match to watch for today, and it certainly delivered as well. It was a 16-12 win for CEX as they took on Reason Gaming, finally stopping this team from their flawless run in the Prem. And that was a pretty impressive matchup overall, Alex.
Yeah, it was a really good game coming in from CEX there. Again, we pointed out, I think just a bunch of the crucial round wins that they won were really impressive for a team that were coming into it as underdogs. That was, I think, the best thing from that game. Yeah. And then for Endpoint, the best thing for them was, I guess, the fact we saw a Bison in that game. That was fun.
Yeah, maybe. I think, and then Negev, there was some crazy stuff, but Endpoint do answer back after their loss against Chets last week. They came into this one with a 16-2 win over the VAC boys on Dust 2. Then we had our final match of the day, Eidos versus the Pensioners, and if you are just tuning in, you have missed a good one, so make sure you watch back the VOD. 16-13 for Eidos, a battle between these two teams that finally ended with a win for the Eidos side. They definitely have potential moving forward, this team, and it'll be good to take a look. And now we look at a look at the standings. And this is probably the closest Prem we've had in a long time, Alex. Eidos 3-1 up at the top there with 9 points. They are joined by Endpoint, CEX, and Reason Gaming.
Yeah, that means a bunch of these games going the distance are going to be really important for these teams. And hey, Eidos, they've come out swinging in this one. To be up there at the top, very impressive for a team we didn't know too much about heading into this season of Prem. I think they've got some tough games ahead of them still, but even to be up there at this point is good. And who knows, maybe they could go even further.
Yeah, I definitely could. And obviously, if you are just tuning in and are unaware of the situation with Le Petit Buffon, they had to forfeit their spot in the Prem, unfortunately, so they will be at the bottom. So Pensioners yet to get a win, 0-4 in the Prem. Unfortunate times for the standings, but that is how it is looking. Again, we've got more Prem coming up soon, but to make this show possible and to keep it running on the ground, we have, of course, got to thank our sponsors. And there's plenty of them that make this wonderful show continue. So they are the likes of Intel, who we are powered by, alongside with AOC Gaming, Stakester, Razor, and Parsec. And definitely a good bunch of sponsors. Parsec has saved us online in terms of watching. So thanks to all of our sponsors for making the show happen. And I thank you as well, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in. The show must go on here at the Prem. Thanks, Alex. I hope you've enjoyed the broadcast today. And I think that will be it from us. So thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in. We'll be back on Monday with more Prem.
That's why you don't with the big dog. No, listen here, you.
Tired of spanking your mates week in, week out? Come on! This sad little loser online from Albuquerque, New Mexico, without any rewards other than glory? Try Stakester now. Start using your legendary skills and making some real motherfucking money. Go on. Press it.
Parsec lets you play your entire library of games on any device, anywhere, with anyone, at any time. It's easy. Install Parsec and boom, your PC game library is at your fingertips. Are you bored playing solo? Share a link with anyone and go multiplayer. No friends online? Jump into Parsec's arcade and play with people from all around the world. Parsec's available for most things with screens. Download now.